Chapter 32:13. What's the use of your sharp tongue? Although I can't really kill you in the 4th round, don't let me see you. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die miserably. Chu Chengkong said coldly. Lu Ming had killed Chu Baxing and Chu Batian. He had to kill Lu Ming. Hee, looks like this kid has offended Brother Chu. At this moment, a cold laugh sounded. Another group of people walked towards Lu Ming. It's Wu Fan and Lu Feng. Someone said seriously. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly as he looked over. Lu Ming had seen one of them before. It was Lu Feng. Beside Lu Feng was a young man in luxurious clothes. This young man had a dignified appearance. Lu Feng was half a step behind him. Needless to say, this young man was the son of the imperial advisor Wu Fan. Thinking that Blue Merchant had been captured by the imperial guards because of Wu Fan, Lu Ming could not help but feel murderous. Wu Fan and Lu Feng, if these two had a chance, Lu Ming would not let them go. Lu Feng, this kid is Lu Ming? Wu Fan said coldly. Yes, that's him. Lu Feng said. Kid, how dare you touch my woman? Very well, I'll make you regret being born. Wu Fan said coldly, full of ferocious murderous intent. Lu Feng heard that Blue Merchant had betrothed Lan Ling to Lu Ming when he was in the 9 Extremes Heavenly King residence. When he came back, he told Wu Fan about it. Wu Fan was naturally furious. That was why he had come to find Lu Ming. Then, he looked at Lan Ling with a burning gaze. Wu Fan, if anything happens to my father, I'll kill you. Lan Ling shouted and stared at Wu Fan angrily. Kill me? Is that so? I'll wait. Wu Fan smiled faintly and looked at Lu Ming again. Kid, you've done something you shouldn't have. Your fate is sealed. Just wait. Then he turned and left. Chu Chengkong sneered and turned to leave. When many people looked at Lu Ming, they were full of pity. Lu Ming had offended Chu Chengkong, Wu Fan, and Lan Feng at the same time. Wasn't he doomed? Lu Ming's expression was very calm. He had achieved what he had today by stepping over mountains of corpses and seas of blood. He had reached where he was by stepping over the corpses of other geniuses. If Wu Fan and Chu Chengkong didn't know what was good for them, he would just have a few more Heaven's Pride corpses under his feet. The scene quieted down. There were some people who were exhausted in the 3rd round, and they all consumed divine pills to recover. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling were also waiting quietly. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. All right, time's up. Let the 4th round begin. The imperial tutor's voice rang out once again. The floating ball emitted a dazzling radiance. Go! Many people moved and rushed into the sphere. Time was tight. They only had 3 months. The earlier they entered, the earlier they could start absorbing battle chi and strengthen the power of their battlesuits. That way they could gain some advantages. In an instant, tens of thousands of people rushed into the sphere and disappeared into it. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and Lan Ling also blended into the crowd and rushed into the sphere. When everyone rushed into the sphere shone even brighter. Then, images appeared around the sphere. The images were of the geniuses who had just entered the sphere. There were thousands of images, projecting the world in the sphere. Back then, the 9 Sabers Heavenly King had set up a formation to allow people to enter and fight for the divine power source bead. He could also project the images inside, but only one image could be projected. However, there were thousands of images. Almost all of the world in the sphere had been projected. In these images, many geniuses had already started to move. They were hunting a type of battle beast. Everyone's gaze fell on some of the top geniuses in the images. For example, the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital, Chu Chengkong, Emperor Jenny, and the others. These people had also started to hunt battle beasts. According to this rule, if the top geniuses meet in advance, won't some of them die in advance and be eliminated from the competition? Someone raised a question. For example, if someone was unlucky enough to enter the top 10 but met the person with the strongest combat strength in advance and was eliminated in advance, wouldn't that be a waste? Don't worry, this formation has been set up in advance. When the Holy Capital's 10 heroes, Di Jenny, Chu Chengkong, and Qian Shengxian enter, they will be automatically separated into different areas. They won't meet in the beginning. The Grand Tutor explained. Everyone was enlightened. As soon as Lu Ming entered the sphere, he found himself on a mountain peak in the next moment. There was no trace of Autumn Moon or Lan Ling around. Obviously, after entering this world, they had all been separated. This was also to prevent geniuses from gathering together and teaming up. For example, the Grand Tutor's residence had many geniuses who had entered this round. If these geniuses all gathered around Wu Fan, it would be unfair. Therefore, after entering this place, they were all randomly separated. This battlesuit. Then, Lu Ming looked at the battlesuit on his body. His body was covered with a layer of crimson battlesuit. This battlesuit had a strange power that acted on Lu Ming's body. When Lu Ming attacked, his strength would be enhanced. However, the enhancement was not much. Lu Ming tried to activate the battle secret art to increase his combat strength by 4 times. He found that the battlesuit's enhancement could be stacked with the battle secret art's enhancement. This is the lowest level of crimson battlesuit, so it doesn't increase my strength by much. If it reaches a higher level, such as blue, purple, or even gold battlesuits, it will definitely increase my combat strength by a lot. It might even allow me to defeat someone stronger than me. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he pondered. Lu Ming could not miss out on such a battlesuit. This time, there were many experts among the geniuses. The top 10 geniuses of the Holy Capital, Di Jianyi, Chu Chengkong, and Qian Shengxian had gathered together, giving Lu Ming a lot of pressure. Lu Ming was confident that he could enter the top 10. However, if he wanted to enter the top 3, he was not completely sure. This kind of battlesuit would determine his success or failure. Let's hunt some battle beasts to increase the level of the battlesuit. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then turned into a beam of light and flew in a direction. Soon, Lu Ming saw a few battle beasts strolling in a valley. Lu Ming directly charged in. Roar! The battle beasts roared and charged towards Lu Ming, bursting with powerful battle chi. However, their cultivation was only at the half-step Divine King realm. Lu Ming pressed down with his spear, and the battle beasts collapsed and turned into battle chi that rushed towards Lu Ming. They flew into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt that the color of the battlesuit on his body had deepened a little. However, it was not much. Half-step Divine King battle beasts add too little battle chi. I need to find stronger battle beasts. Lu Ming muttered and continued to soar into the air. Next, Lu Ming began his leveling up journey. Chapter 32:14. After an hour, Lu Ming had killed dozens of battle beasts. However, the color of his battle suit didn't darken much. That was because the battle beasts he had killed along the way were all at the half-step King God realm. Am I at the edge? I haven't encountered any of the others. The battle beasts are all low level. As for the battle tower, I haven't even seen a hair of it. Lu Ming was speechless. He suddenly sped up, dashing forward. He didn't even care about the battle beasts at the half-step King God realm. Not long after. Roar! A furious roar was heard. A giant battle beast dashed toward Lu Ming with a powerful aura. A King God realm battle beast. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. A spear light shot out from his finger, flying forward. Puff! The battle beast at the first layer of the King God realm exploded, turning into a flow of battle chi and entering Lu Ming's body. The color of the battle suit on his body suddenly deepened. A King God realm battle beast can provide more battle chi. Lu Ming smiled. From now on, the number of King God realm battle beasts increased. These battle beasts couldn't threaten Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming went on a killing spree. 2 hours later, when Lu Ming had killed 2 more King God realm battle beasts, his battle suit emitted a dazzling light. Its color changed, turning into an orange battle suit. However, the color was light, just a light orange. Lu Ming gave it a try and discovered that the orange combat suit was indeed much more effective in increasing his combat power than the red combat suit. Let's continue. Lu Ming smiled and continued his journey of hunting beasts. However, after the battle suit reached the orange level, it was harder to upgrade it. In the next 2 days, Lu Ming had killed more than 100 first layer of the King God realm battle beasts. However, his battle suit didn't upgrade. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes brightened. A tall tower appeared in front of him. Lu Ming flew over. It's the battle tower. Lu Ming was delighted. According to the Imperial Tutor, the battle chi provided by the battle tower was much higher than the battle beasts. Destroying a battle tower could provide a lot of battle chi. Lu Ming didn't hesitate. He directly flew over and shot out his spear, sweeping the stage. Boom! The fighting stage shook violently, but it didn't shatter. This battle tower is really tough. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. His spear strike just now had an absolutely astonishing power, but it still hadn't shattered the battle tower. Then, Lu Ming fired a few more shots. Although the battle tower shook violently, it still didn't shatter. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt a murderous intent enveloping him. He subconsciously executed the Nine Heavens Garuda technique and left the place in a flash. Clang! A beam of sword light passed through the place where he had been standing and bombarded the battle tower, causing it to shake again. Lu Ming's gaze swept to the side like lightning. A black-robed young man stepped through the air. You're Lu Ming, right? This battle tower is mine. Now get lost. The black-robed young man waved his hand and said. This young man was also wearing an orange battlesuit. His cultivation level was the same as Lu Ming's. I seem to be the one who discovered this battle tower first. Lu Ming said indifferently. So what if you discovered it? It's mine now. If you don't want to get lost, your battle chi will also be mine. The black-robed young man's eyes were filled with murderous intent. In the second round, although Lu Ming had displayed great talent, his cultivation level wasn't high. He was only in the first heaven of the King God realm. As for the black-robed young man, he was only in the second heaven of the King God realm and had awakened his divine origin force factor once. He didn't take Lu Ming seriously at all. Clang! The black-robed young man merged with his sword and turned into a dazzling beam of sword light, attacking Lu Ming. However, in the next moment, the beam of sword light shattered and the black-robed young man appeared. His eyes were wide open and filled with disbelief. His chest was pierced by a spear. Get out! Lu Ming said in a low voice. His spear shook and the black-robed young man's body was torn into pieces. However, at this moment, runes appeared in the void and covered the black-robed young man's corpse. In a flash, it disappeared. In the next moment, the black-robed young man's body appeared in the sphere outside of this world. His face was filled with fear. He couldn't even withstand one attack from Lu Ming and was killed. He got killed so quickly. He must have met some expert. Some people looked at the black-robed young man. More than 10,000 people had entered the battle tower. There were only a few thousand projections in the sky. They couldn't capture everything. Previously, the projection didn't show the scene of Lu Ming killing the black-robed young man. The black-robed young man harumphed coldly. He didn't say anything and flew to the side to watch the battle. In the spherical world, after Lu Ming killed the youth in black, a majestic battle aura flowed into his battlesuit. The battlesuit on his body shone brightly at once. Although it was still an orange battlesuit, it was a deep orange color. The color was a lot richer than before. Killing other people really did give him half of their battle chi. If his battlesuit was upgraded to blue or purple, then how much battle chi would he get from killing someone? Lu Ming's heart stirred. Then he thought of a plan. Looks like I'll have to change my plan. Lu Ming muttered and then continued to attack the battle tower. After Lu Ming attacked over 100 times, the battle tower finally exploded. It turned into a majestic energy that rushed toward Lu Ming and gathered on his battlesuit. Lu Ming's battlesuit's color became even richer. It was incomparably resplendent. The change in quantity led to a change in quality. His battlesuit's color finally changed to yellow. It had become a yellow battle armor. Lu Ming smiled. This battle tower's battle chi was truly astonishing. It was a lot more than the battle chi provided by the black-robed young man. Lu Ming tried the enhancement of the yellow armor. He then left the place and continued to hunt for battle beasts. There's a bunch of them over there. Not long after, Lu Ming found a valley where a bunch of battle beasts had gathered. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He immediately attacked. Roar! Suddenly, a terrifying roar came from the valley. A powerful aura rushed out from the valley, covering the sky and covering the earth. It's a 7th King God layer cultivator. Run! Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. He turned around and ran. There was a 7th King God layer battle beast here. With Lu Ming's current strength, he would definitely die if he encountered such a battle beast. Luckily, the battle beast didn't chase after him. Lu Ming smoothly escaped. It seems like the battle beasts in this world aren't easy to kill. There are some terrifying existences here. Lu Ming thought. A 7th King God layer battle beast was definitely invincible among the geniuses this time. In fact, it was true. In this world, there weren't only 7th King God layer battle beasts. There were also peak King God layer battle beasts. Some people were unlucky enough to encounter such a battle beast and were sent out of this world. Next, Lu Ming was more careful and continued to hunt for combat beasts. Chapter 32:15. In the blink of an eye, 1.5 months had passed. After 1.5 months of hunting and battling with other geniuses, Lu Ming was now wearing a cyan battlesuit. The cyan battlesuit could increase Lu Ming's combat strength by a lot. Lu Ming's strength had increased by a lot. At this time, the competition was getting more intense. Lu Ming encountered more geniuses. Once they met, they would fight. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming was flying when he suddenly heard a loud explosion in the distance. Apparently, there was a battle going on. Lu Ming flew over and saw a huge battle tower standing between the heavens and the earth. What a huge battle tower! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The battle tower in front of him was bigger than any of the battle towers that Lu Ming had encountered. According to Lu Ming's experience, the bigger the battle tower, the more battle chi it would provide. At this moment, several groups of geniuses were fighting for the battle tower. It's him! Lu Ming saw a familiar face at first glance. The last of the 4 heroes of the Jin family, Jin Dun. He was fighting fiercely with the others. Jin Dun's cultivation was at the 3rd king god realm. He had awakened the divine origin force factor once, so he was very strong. However, the other geniuses were not weak either. After dozens of moves, there was no clear winner. They all retreated and distanced themselves from each other. They faced each other. In my opinion, we should attack this battle tower together. Whoever is lucky enough to be the last one to break the tower will be able to obtain the battle chi. Otherwise, if we keep fighting, we won't be able to determine a winner, and will even attract other geniuses. A young man suggested. The others nodded. It was the only way. The battle tower was not that easy to destroy. Only the last one to break the tower would get the battle chi. They could only rely on their luck now. You don't have to discuss it. We want this battle tower. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. 2 black lights flashed and 2 black-robed young men appeared not far away. The 2 black-robed young men emitted wisps of cold aura. Joyo Heavenly King Mansion. Jin Dun's face turned serious. The 2 black-robed young men behind him were from the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion. The people from the 9 Serenities Heavenly King Mansion had strange attacking methods. Everyone else was wary of them. You want to monopolize this battle tower? With just the 2 of you, I'm afraid you can't do it. One of the Sky Prides said coldly. Really? One of the geniuses from the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion charged at the young man like a ghost. Tornado kick! The young man shouted as he took several steps forward. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind appeared between heaven and earth, sweeping towards the genius of Jiu Heavenly King Mansion. The gale sliced through the air, emitting a terrifying whistling sound. Without even looking, one could tell that this gale had a terrifying destructive power. However, the prodigy of the abysmal Heavenly King Mansion moved quickly. When the wind slashed his body twisted rapidly and the destructive force of the wind was negated. After a few flashes, the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion's genius arrived in front of the young man and grabbed him with his ghostly claw. The young man's expression changed, and his leg lashed out like a long whip. Boom! The 2 of them exchanged blows. In the end, the young man's body shook violently and he was forced to retreat. His face turned pale and he almost vomited blood. The 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion's genius was at the same realm as him. They were both in the 3rd layer of the King God realm and had awakened their origin divine force. This meant that their strength was on par with each other. However, the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion had the upper hand when they exchanged blows. After gaining the upper hand, the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion attacked ferociously. Ghostly shadows appeared, wailing and howling. Ghostly chi filled the sky. The prodigy was no match for the prodigy. After a dozen blows, the prodigy of the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion landed a blow on his chest, almost piercing through his heart. The young man coughed out blood and retreated rapidly. Countless people outside also saw this scene. Humph! Someone harumphed coldly. He was the elder of the injured young man. Even more people had grave expressions on their faces. The 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion's attacks were strange. They could directly affect one's soul. Few people of the same level could be their match. Most of the people from the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion were afraid of them. There were also many experts from the 9 Nether Heavenly King Mansion present. They sneered and looked smug. In the spherical world, after the prodigy of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion injured his opponent, he continued to attack his opponent. Obviously, he wanted to kill his opponent completely. Everyone, are you just going to watch the show? After he kills me, he'll kill all of you. We'll take you down one by one. The young man roared. Jean Dunn and the others' faces darkened. After looking at each other, they dashed toward the prodigy of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion. The prodigy of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion turned into a cloud of ghostly mist and retreated quickly to meet up with another prodigy of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion. Jean Dunn and the others also gathered together and stared at the prodigy of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion cautiously. The few of them who were fighting a while ago had joined forces now. The prodigy of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion was giving them too much pressure. Both sides were in a standoff and no one made a move. It seems like a stalemate has formed. I don't have that much time to waste, Lu Ming muttered. He had been hiding in the dark to observe. Initially, he wanted to wait until both sides were injured before making a move. That way, he could easily occupy the battle tower. Now it seemed unrealistic. Lu Ming stepped out and walked toward the battle tower. As soon as he walked out, he immediately attracted everyone's attention. Not only the two prodigies of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion, Jean Dunn and the rest, but also many people outside. Although there were exciting battles everywhere, there were still many people who noticed this projection. It's that kid Lu Ming. The people of the Jean family revealed a trace of coldness. Jean Dunn appeared in the projection. The Jean family members had naturally been paying attention to the projection. Lu Ming. The others from the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion were also paying attention to the projection. Their faces changed and no one knew what they were thinking. As for Wu Zifeng, Yu Linglong and the others who were close to Lu Ming, they revealed worried looks. Jean Dunn of the four prodigies of the Jean family was much stronger than the other three prodigies. He was not that easy to deal with. Moreover, there were other experts. It's that kid. The kid whose comprehension is comparable to Di Jenny in the second round. In addition, many people also noticed this side. After seeing Lu Ming, they revealed a curious look. They wanted to know how outstanding Lu Ming's performance in the second round was. How strong was his actual combat power? Lu Ming walked step by step toward the battle tower. He was still far away and a few terrifying auras had locked onto him. Lu Ming, Jean Dunn whispered. His eyes were cold and murderous. Lu Ming from the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion. It's that kid who killed the prodigy of the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion. The two prodigies from the Nine Nether Heavenly King Mansion whispered. The cold ghost aura kept churning and emitting a terrifying sound. Chapter 32:16. Cold murderous intents fell on Lu Ming, but Lu Ming ignored them and continued to walk forward. He said, "You guys are dawdling here. It seems like you don't want the battle tower anymore. If that's the case, then give the battle tower to me." This brat wants the battle tower? Haha, has he lost his mind? A sky pride from the Nine Serenities Heavenly King Mansion sneered. Stop dreaming. Everyone, I have a grudge with this person, so I'll deal with him. I hope you won't interfere, Jean Dunn said. The reason why he said that was because he was afraid that he would be ambushed when he made his move. Don't worry, after you finish him off, we'll discuss how to divide this battle tower. One of the Nine Serenities Heavenly King Mansion's sky pride said coldly. Bang! As soon as he said that, Jean Dunn took a step forward and closed in on Lu Ming. Lu Ming, although I can't really kill you here, I can still get some interest. Tell me, how do you want to die? Jean Dunn coldly spoke. His body emitted a resplendent light. His palms shone with a pure golden light. You talk too much. Kill. Lu Ming was too lazy to talk nonsense with his opponent. With a loud shout, he continuously punched out with his fists. Roar 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 dense dragon roars resounded in all directions. 36 divine dragon Laksana emerged and rushed toward Jean Dunn. Lu Ming now controlled 10 types of divine-grade divine powers, especially after the golden dragon divine power had been transformed into the primordial dragon power. The power of the divine dragon aspect technique had also increased by a level. In addition, the battle symbol art had quadrupled his battle prowess, as well as the 8 types of origin god force factors. His sovereign's god force had already undergone a second awakening. With so many factors combined, the power was terrifying. A blood-curdling scream was heard before it was drowned out by the sound of the explosion. When the sound of the explosion disappeared, Gene Dunn was seen floating in mid-air, his body twitching non-stop. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth. It was as miserable as it could be. The geniuses of the abysmal Heavenly King Palace and a few other geniuses were astounded. Gene Dunn was dealt with so quickly? The people who were watching the battle from the outside were also stunned. This was completely different from what they had expected. Some people thought that Lu Ming would be suppressed by Gene Dunn. Even if there were a few people who thought that Lu Ming could win, it would at least be an intense battle. What was this? The beginning represented the end? How could this be? The lips of the Gene family's patriarch and the Gene family's experts kept trembling. Gene Dunn was the strongest warrior of the young generation of the Gene family. He was young, but he had reached the third king god realm. He was the leader of the 4 heroes of the Gene family. The Gene family had high hopes for him. Originally, he thought that Gene Dunn would be able to avenge Gene Xing, Gene Yuan, and the others. Who would have thought that he would be beaten up so badly by Lu Ming? Good. Brother Lu Ming's ability has improved greatly. This is really worth celebrating. Wu Zifeng clapped his hands and laughed, almost making the experts of the Gene clan vomit blood. What did it mean to be congratulated? Happy Motherf *Ker. Whoosh. At this moment, Lu Ming condensed a giant hand with his god Qi and grabbed Gene Dunn. You're so arrogant with this little strength. What 4 heroes of the Gene family? You're just a bunch of good-for-nothings. I'll send you out. As soon as Lu Ming finished speaking, a powerful energy exploded and bombarded Gene Dunn. With a bang, Gene Dunn's body exploded. Then, runes filled the air. A moment later, Gene Dunn's figure appeared outside the spherical world. Damn it! Damn it! Gene Dunn roared, but his eyes were also filled with fear. This time, he was lucky that they were in the spherical world. If they were in another place, he would have been killed by Lu Ming, just like the other 3-4 heroes of the Gene family. After killing Gene Dunn's battle chi was absorbed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cyan battle armor shone even brighter. Absorbing battle chi like this is really cool. Lu Ming smiled. When he looked at the other geniuses, his eyes were burning. Why aren't you getting lost? Do you want to die too? Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, we've indeed underestimated you. I didn't expect your strength to have reached this level. Even so, if we want to kill you, you'll die without a doubt. A genius from the abysmal heavenly mansion said coldly. Then, 2 geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion rushed toward Lu Ming. Although Lu Ming was strong, they were not afraid. The abysmal heavenly mansion's cultivation method was strange. It could affect the soul and had always been able to defeat the strong. Moreover, there were 2 of them. The 2 of them rushed toward Lu Ming like 2 ghosts. Waves of ghost fog appeared and shrouded Lu Ming. At the same time, ghost claws grabbed at Lu Ming. On the side, the other geniuses' eyes flickered. They also attacked at the same time. Their target was still Lu Ming. The green battlesuit on Lu Ming's body was extremely rich in color. At a glance, one could tell that it contained a large amount of battle chi. If they could kill Lu Ming, they would obtain a large amount of battle chi. It would definitely be more than the battle chi of a battle tower. Therefore they attacked together. They wanted to rely on their numbers to get rid of Lu Ming. Just in time. Lu Ming shouted coldly. His body swelled rapidly as he displayed the ancient god body. He turned into a green-armored ancient god and swept out his spear. The 2 geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion bore the brunt of the attack and were engulfed by the spear radiance. Boom! The attacks from both sides collided. At the moment of collision, a strange energy rushed into Lu Ming's body from the attack of the 9th Heavenly King Mansion, wanting to bombard Lu Ming's soul. However, Lu Ming's soul was protected by the frightening feather painting and was completely fine. The soul attack had no effect on Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming's combat strength was still as terrifying as ever. The 2 geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion were horrified. They quickly retreated and their auras weakened. How can you not be affected? The 2 geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion shouted in disbelief. Kill! Lu Ming did not bother to talk nonsense with them. He shook his long spear and continuously displayed the space-piercing move. In an instant, dozens of spear radiances shot out and enveloped the 2 geniuses from the abysmal heavenly mansion. In addition, A few other geniuses were also within the range of the spear radiances. A total of 5 young men were killed by Lu Ming before they could even let out a scream. 5 balls of rich battle chi flew into Lu Ming's body and merged with Lu Ming's body. The color of Lu Ming's battlesuit became even richer. Lu Ming felt that it was not far from evolving into a blue battlesuit. I should be able to upgrade to a blue battlesuit after destroying this battle tower. Lu Ming smiled and attacked the battle tower. Not long after, the battle tower exploded and turned into a rich battle chi that merged with Lu Ming's battlesuit. All of a sudden, Lu Ming's combat suit emitted a dazzling glow. Afterward, the color of the combat suit that was extremely rich began to change. It turned blue. A light blue battlesuit covered Lu Ming's body. A blue battlesuit. Very good. My strength has increased by a lot. Lu Ming smiled. Chapter 32:17. After feeling the effects of the battle armor on his body, Lu Ming looked around and said, "You still haven't appeared? How long are you going to wait?" As soon as Lu Ming's voice fell, the surrounding auras fluctuated. "Haha, looks like you've already noticed." A sneer sounded, and then, 2 young men stepped out from the right side of Lu Ming. At the same time, 3 young men stepped out from behind Lu Ming. The people on the right and the back were clearly from 2 different factions. "You've already arrived, right? You haven't made a move because you want to reap the benefits." Lu Ming said indifferently. "That's right. Now all the battle chi is gathered on you. As long as we kill you, we can get half of your battle chi. Isn't that very convenient?" On the right, a burly young man spoke. This young man was extremely tall, with a stocky back and a bare waist. He was a bear man. "You're very confident," Lu Ming said. "I have to admit that your strength is beyond my expectations. Your strength should be about the same as mine. Unfortunately, you're alone while we have so many people." The bear man young man said, "About the same as you? Haha." Lu Ming chuckled and did not explain further. "Ikuan, let's attack together. Let's see who's lucky enough to kill him." The bear man young man looked at the 3 young men behind Lu Ming. These 3 young men had a layer of scales on their arms, and their eyes flickered with a ferocious light, full of wildness. They were the prodigies of the Bearman race. The Taishu sacred dynasty had a boundless territory and occupied countless planets with life. There were many races within it. Although they were all small races, except for the Bone Sword race, which had once been ranked on the primitive race list, none of the other races had entered the list. The Bearman race and the Bearman race were such races. "Okay, let's attack together." Ikuan spoke and took a step forward, closing in on Lu Ming. At the same time, the 2 young men of the Bearman race also pressed towards Lu Ming, releasing powerful auras. Experts, they were all experts. Among them, the aura of the leader of the bear race and Ikuan was the most terrifying. His cultivation base was at the 3rd king god realm, but he was emitting an ancient, desolate aura. Origin divine power factor. Second awakening. Lu Ming immediately sensed the opponent's approximate strength. This time, let's see how Lu Ming deals with it. Outside, someone spoke. 3rd king god realm, and he has awakened the god origin twice. This kind of force is the best among all the young geniuses this time. He is only second to the 10 young geniuses of the holy metropolis. That's right. Can Lu Ming handle 2 geniuses of this level? At this moment, even more people's gazes were focused on Lu Ming and the others' projections, revealing looks of curiosity. Inside the sphere, the bear youths were the first to attack. Their leader was called Xiong Bao. With a roar, his body transformed into a giant bear that was dozens of meters tall. Although he wasn't as tall as Lu Ming's ancient god body, his aura was still extremely terrifying. Boom! Xiong Bao slapped at Lu Ming. A giant bear paw covered the sky, pressing down on Lu Ming. At the same time, Ikuan and the others also attacked. Several crocodile tails with dense scales lashed out at Lu Ming, causing the air to explode. Divine Power Dharma Image. Lu Ming punched out, causing dragon roars to resound. He directly condensed 36 divine dragon images that rushed towards Ikuan and the others, temporarily blocking their attacks. Above Lu Ming's head, an ancient stone gate appeared. The Sovereign's Gate. Lu Ming grabbed the Sovereign's Gate and smashed it at Xiong Bao. The Sovereign's Gate smashed into Xiong Bao's paw. Xiong Bao screamed miserably as his paw exploded, blood and flesh splattering everywhere. Origin secret technique. Xiangbao screamed miserably and retreated, wanting to escape. However, Lu Ming quickly followed, and the sovereign's gate continued to press down. Boom! Xiangbao's body directly exploded, and he died on the spot. It wasn't just him. The other bear race's genius besides Xiangbao also exploded, dying on the spot. Retreat, retreat, retreat. Yikuan and the others turned pale with fright. They crazily retreated, almost scared out of their wits. Don't you think it's too late to retreat now? Lu Ming icily said. The sovereign's gate became 30,000 meters large and pressed down on Yikuan and the others. The sovereign's gate released a powerful suction force that enveloped Yikuan and the others, causing their speed to sharply drop. Following that, the sovereign's gate continued to press down. Bang! Yikuan might have done his best to block, but he was still unable to withstand a single blow. His body was directly torn apart. Following that, the sovereign's gate once more pressed down, and the other two bear race's geniuses also died. In just a short while, Lu Ming had killed 5 experts. Xiangbao and Yikuan's battle chi was especially shocking. Lu Ming had absorbed half of it, and Lu Ming's light blue battle robes began to turn darker. Just one more wave of battle chi and it'll be enough. I can't absorb too much. Lu Ming pondered. He had his own plans. If he absorbed too much battle chi now, it would affect his plans. Lu Ming soared into the air and left. Outside, an uproar had already broken out. Countless people were shocked by Lu Ming's strength. Lu Ming had actually been able to easily kill experts like Yikuan and Xiangbao. It had to be known that such an expert was only second to the Holy Capital's 10 greats. He could be ranked second. Didn't that mean Lu Ming's strength could already be ranked first? If Lu Ming's cultivation base was also at the 3rd heaven stage of the God King realm, then it would be fine. But Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the 1st heaven stage of the God King realm. That was terrifying. Some people were shocked, some were impressed, some were jealous, and some were pensive. Not bad. A dignified voice came from the 9 dragons pulling the war chariot. It was the Sage Emperor. The Sage Emperor had spoken again. Countless people revealed envious expressions. The Sage Emperor's words were clearly praising Lu Ming. Clearly, Lu Ming had attracted the Sage Emperor's attention. The Sage Emperor had lived for who knew how long, and he had seen countless heavenly geniuses. It was extremely rare for him to praise someone. Every time the Taishu Sacred Academy opened, there were very few people who received such treatment. Most of the time, there was not even one. Regardless of what everyone was thinking, the battle in the spherical world was still ongoing. Some people were constantly looking for battle beasts to kill, slowly accumulating battle chi. As for those with stronger cultivation bases, they no longer hunted battle beasts. Instead, they focused on other people, especially those with high-grade battle robes. They were often the target of many people. For example, Lu Ming had been besieged by several groups of people in just a few days. The main reason was that the color of his battle robes was too eye-catching. Wherever he went, the blue light would spread far and wide. How much battle chi did a blue battle robe contain? Naturally, it would attract people's attention. But in the end, those people all turned into battle chi and were absorbed by Lu Ming. Chapter 32:18. Lu Ming stood at the peak of a mountain, a cold smile hanging at the corners of his lips. He could clearly sense that not far behind him, there was a group of people following him in the dark. Evidently, they had their eyes on Lu Ming. I don't mind taking your battle chi if you're stupid enough to come and seek your death. Lu Ming smiled and sat cross-legged on the mountain peak. He closed his eyes and started to cultivate. There was still more than a month to go. Lu Ming didn't want to waste any time. This kid is cultivating here instead of hunting for battle beasts to increase his battle chi. Strange. Someone from the group of people who were hiding in the dark said curiously. I guess he thinks his battle chi is enough. Should we take action? A few of them were discussing. Wait a minute. This person can upgrade his battle suit to blue. He's not ordinary. Let's wait a little longer. The leader of the group said. Could he be an expert? I think he's only in King God Realm First Heaven. No matter how strong he is, he can't be that strong. Another person said. No matter what, it's better to be safe than sorry. Let's wait a little longer. The leader of the group was more cautious. What they did not know was that in another direction, There was also a group of people approaching Lu Ming. They were hiding in the dark and observing. Evidently, they were attracted by Lu Ming's blue battlesuit. This group of people was also more cautious and didn't rush to take action. Not long after. Whoosh! Whoosh! In the distant sky, a few rainbows flew over rapidly and landed in the sky not far away from Lu Ming. Lu Ming! A cold voice was heard. Lu Ming opened his eyes and a cold light flashed across his eyes. Blue Maple. One of the few youths that came later was Blue Maple. Lu Ming, I didn't expect you to upgrade your battlesuit to blue rank. This is beyond my expectations. Blue Maple said with a murderous look in his eyes. Wu Fan isn't with you? Lu Ming asked. I can still kill you without Wu Fan. You escaped last time. Let's see how you can escape this time. Blue Maple's voice was extremely cold. His killing intent towards Lu Ming was incomparably strong. In his opinion, Lu Ming's god power source bead should be his, but it was swallowed by Lu Ming himself. It was simply a waste of heaven's treasures. If he did not kill Lu Ming, he would not be able to vent the hatred in his heart. Blue Maple didn't know that the members of the Lan family were all very displeased when they saw this scene. They wanted nothing more than to shout at Blue Maple and ask him to run. They had seen Lu Ming's fighting strength before. He was definitely at the peak of the second tier, and could even be considered first tier. Blue Maple was definitely not a match for Lu Ming. Unfortunately, they could only be anxious. There were also people who were very anxious. They were the two groups of people hiding in the dark. Oh no, it's Blue Maple. Although Blue Maple hasn't awakened his origin secret technique, the secret techniques that he cultivates are still very powerful. Don't let him beat us to it. Let's make a move too. Otherwise, if Blue Maple makes a move, that kid will be dead for sure. We won't have a share of the loot. Let's go. The two groups of people couldn't wait any longer. They were afraid that Blue Maple would beat them to it and kill Lu Ming. They wouldn't have a share of such a dense battle aura. They couldn't help but rush out. Suddenly, 3 groups of people appeared in 3 different directions of the mountain peak, surrounding Lu Ming in the middle. Blue Maple's eyes flashed coldly. Apparently, he didn't expect there to be so many people around him. Since you're all here, let's make a move. After killing all of you, I still need to cultivate. Lu Ming said indifferently. He looked as if he didn't put Blue Maple and the others in his eyes. Blue Maple was so angry that he wanted to laugh. Arrogant and ignorant. Dang. Blue Maple made his move immediately. A bright blue sword gleam slashed toward Lu Ming. Its power was terrifying. Now, Lu Ming could feel that Blue Maple's cultivation was also in the 3rd heaven of the King God realm. He had awakened his origin divine power factor twice. When they were in the 9 extinction heavenly king palace, Lu Ming couldn't resist such strength. But now, haha. Let's go. Don't let Blue Maple beat us to it. When the other 2 groups of people saw Blue Maple making a move, they became anxious and attacked one after another. The leaders of the 2 groups of people were extremely powerful and belonged to the 2nd tier. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dared to compete with Blue Maple. Let's get rid of them together. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly as the Gate of Domination appeared above his head. The Gate of Domination shook and a terrifying power burst out, destroying the attacks around him. Kill. The Gate of Domination attacked one of the groups of people. Bam. The leader of the group was killed by the Gate of Domination and died on the spot. After killing him, the Gate of Domination turned and attacked the leader of the other group of people. That prodigy didn't even have time to react before he was killed by the Sovereign's Gate with ease. Blue Maple's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Those 2 were elites who were on par with him. However, they were unable to put up any resistance in Lu Ming's hands and were killed directly. How could this be? Back in the 9 extinction heavenly king residence, Lu Ming was just a piece of trash that he could kill easily. How many years had it been? How could he have reacted so quickly? Run. The remaining 2 groups of youths were scared to death and ran away. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to chase after them. His gaze landed on Blue Maple. He had purposely left Blue Maple alive so that he could kill him slowly. You. Blue Maple was shocked and retreated. What's with that expression? Weren't you very arrogant just now? Come on, kill me. Lu Ming stepped forward with a mocking look on his face. Lu Ming, how dare you touch me? I'm from the Lan family. If you dare to touch me, not only you, but also Lan Ling and Blue Merchant will die miserably. Blue Maple said coldly. Seeing that he wasn't a match for Lu Ming, he started to threaten Lu Ming. It would have been better if he didn't mention this. Once he did, Lu Ming's eyes flashed with killing intent. Boom! The gate of domination came crashing down. "Break for me!" Blue Maple shouted. His body emitted a strong blue light. His sword shot up to the sky and slashed at the gate of domination. Blue Maple was very strong. He was also in the third heaven of the King God realm and had awakened his origin God power factor twice. He was stronger than the other two. Although he didn't control the origin God power factor, he had cultivated a few terrifying secret techniques. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been confident that he could enter the top 10 after awakening his origin God power factor. Unfortunately, he had met Lu Ming. The gate of domination came crashing down and Blue Maple's sword light exploded. Crack! A powerful force slammed into Blue Maple's body. Blue Maple screamed in agony as the bones in his chest broke. His body flew out and almost exploded. Protect the young master. The other geniuses of the Lan family rushed towards Lu Ming without caring about their lives. Anyway, they wouldn't die in this world. The geniuses of the Lan family didn't dare to run away. Otherwise they would be in trouble. They were destined to be killed by Lu Ming easily. Lu Ming took a step forward and stepped on Lu Maple's face. Chapter 32:19. Lu Ming stomped on Blue Maple's face. Blue Maple screamed in agony as his body fell to the ground like a meteorite. He crashed heavily into the ground, creating a human-shaped crater. Blue Maple lay in the human-shaped crater, his body twitching non-stop. Blood spurted out of his mouth. Tragic, too tragic to look at. Damn it. Damned bastard. Outside, the experts of the Lan family were furious when they saw this scene. They wanted to slap Lu Ming to death. Lu Feng was the #1 prodigy among the younger generation of the Lan family. He was the face of the Lan family. However, he was in such a miserable state. His face had been trampled on. This was equivalent to everyone in the Lan family being trampled on by Lu Ming. Good, Lu Ming is bold. Well done. He can't beat Blue Maple, so he used the power behind him to threaten him. How shameless. What kind of genius is he? Someone cheered loudly. Naturally, he was the enemy of the Lan family. When the experts of the Lan family heard this, they vomited blood. Inside the spherical world, Lu Ming's body descended rapidly. He was about to stomp on Blue Maple's face again. Lu Ming, I won't let you off. Blue Maple roared. A powerful aura surged from his body. Then with a boom, his body was torn apart. Blue Maple had self-detonated. He did it to prevent himself from being tortured by Lu Ming. Blue Maple self-detonated. His body appeared outside the spherical world. Lu Ming, Lu Ming, Blue Maple growled. His face was ferocious like a wild beast. Although his injuries would heal once he exited the spherical world, he still felt his face burning. Lu Ming's kick had left a deep impression on him. His murderous intent towards Lu Ming had reached its peak. He actually self-detonated. Lu Ming pursed his lips. He didn't want to kill Blue Maple so easily. He wanted to torture Blue Maple, but he didn't expect Blue Maple to be so decisive. Ha! Even if you self-destruct, half of your battle chi will be absorbed by me. Lu Ming mumbled to himself. He realized that when Blue Maple self-detonated, half of his battle chi had fused into his battlesuit. He killed several top-notch geniuses in a row, especially Blue Maple. His battle aura was already extremely dense, and it had reached the level of a blue battlesuit. After so many battle chis were integrated into Lu Ming's battlesuit, the color of Lu Ming's battlesuit constantly turned darker. After a while, the color of Lu Ming's battlesuit reached the peak of blue. Lu Ming felt that he was only one step away from upgrading to a purple battlesuit. It's about time. If I continue to absorb it, it will be detrimental to my future plans. I should find a place to hide and cultivate. After 3 months, I will go to the central region to snatch the divine throne. Lu Ming pondered for a moment, then turned into a beam of light and left. Not long after, Lu Ming found a secluded place and went underground. He opened up a space underground and cultivated quietly. The people outside had completely lost track of Lu Ming. Why did Lu Ming go underground to cultivate? His battlesuit is only one step away from upgrading to a purple battlesuit. Once it is upgraded to a purple battlesuit, it will definitely increase his strength greatly. That's right. He should seize the time to upgrade his battlesuit. With his strength, if his battlesuit is strong enough, he might be able to compete for the top 10. I don't understand. Some people discussed and shook their heads. They did not understand Lu Ming's thoughts. Only a few people were deep in thought, as if they had thought of something. In the spherical world, the killing continued. As time passed, the killing became more and more intense. As time went on, many people's battlesuits were of higher grades. Killing one person would give them more battle chi. Some people with weaker cultivation were killed. As for the 10 heroes of the holy capital, Di Jenny, Chu Chengkong and the rest, they were undoubtedly the brightest stars and attracted everyone's attention. In the blink of an eye, there were only 3 days left. The 3-month period would be up. On this day, Lu Ming left the underground and rushed out, ending more than a month of seclusion. In more than a month, he naturally did not have any major breakthroughs, but his cultivation had become more stable. 3 more days, that's enough. Lu Ming rushed to the central region of the world. He did not hunt any battle beasts. Instead, he flew very quickly, like a Kuan Peng sweeping across the sky, quickly flying to the central region. 2 days later, he was not far from the central region. Just then, a terrifying force attacked Lu Ming from the side. It was shockingly fast. Lu Ming was shocked. He clenched his fist and a long spear condensed and swept to the side. That was a spear radiance. It bombarded the long spear in Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming's body shook violently and flew to one side, breaking a mountain peak. What a powerful force! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He steadied himself and looked in that direction. A burly young man in battle armor stepped on the air and approached. Chu Chengkong, no wonder. Lu Ming squinted his eyes slightly. It was Chu Chengkong who attacked him. The surface of Chu Chengkong's battle armor was covered with a purple battlesuit. A purple battlesuit. It's Chu Chengkong. Chu Chengkong is going to attack Lu Ming. There was also an uproar outside. Many people were excited. Chu Chengkong was known as the strongest genius in the history of the War God clan. His combat strength was unfathomable. He was considered to be in the top 10, or even the top 3. As for Lu Ming, his previous performance could be said to be a dark horse. He was also ranked in the first tier. Now, who was stronger between Lu Ming and Chu Chengkong? Of course Chu Chengkong is stronger. Chu Chengkong is also a monster, but his cultivation is stronger. Lu Ming is definitely no match for him. Someone said with certainty. That makes sense. Others nodded. Most people felt that although Lu Ming was strong, he was definitely no match for Chu Chengkong. Lu Ming, we finally meet. I'll take half of your battle chi. Chu Chengkong held the long spear in his hand. His body was covered with 2 layers of battle armor and battlesuit. He looked more majestic and wild, as if the god of war had come back to life. He looked calm and walked toward Lu Ming step by step. He was full of confidence. You talk too much. If you want to fight, let's fight. I've been wanting to beat you up for a long time. Come on, let's fight. Lu Ming shouted. As you wish. Chu Chengkong shouted coldly. His violent aura soared into the sky. A huge shadow of a spear thousands of miles long appeared. God of War Strike. Chu Chengkong shouted and was about to perform the God of War Strike. At this moment, Lu Ming's body flashed and flew away at an extremely fast speed. Chu Chengkong, keep half of your battle chi with you. I'll come back later to get it. Lu Ming's voice came from afar. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had flown hundreds of miles away. Chu Chengkong almost spat out blood. His aura had reached the peak and he was about to launch a thunderous attack. However, Lu Ming had escaped. He escaped. Chapter 32:20. Lu Ming fled without putting up a fight. In the blink of an eye, he had flown hundreds of miles away. All the onlookers were stunned. They had thought that Lu Ming would have a big fight with Chu Chengkong. Hee. I knew Lu Ming would not dare to fight. He knows that he is no match for Chu Chengkong. That's why he fled before the fight began. That's right. Chu Chengkong is definitely stronger than Lu Ming. I have a rough idea of Lu Ming's strength now. It's normal to flee without putting up a fight. Moreover, Chu Chengkong's combat suit is purple. It can enhance his combat strength even more. Discussions broke out. Everyone thought that Lu Ming had fled because he knew he was no match for Chu Chengkong. Even without the enhancement of the combat suit, Chengkong can still crush Lu Ming. An elder from the War God clan stroked his beard and said calmly. His face was full of confidence. That old man. He's speaking too early. Don't get slapped in the face later. Yu Linglong muttered unhappily. When the elder from the War God clan heard this, his eyes narrowed. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes. However, Yu Linglong was standing in the crowd of the Wu clan. The elder from the War God clan could only stare at her. Young people are short-sighted and ignorant. The elder from the War God clan waved his sleeves and scolded. Yu Linglong made a face and didn't want to bother with him. In the spherical world, Chu Chengkong was furious when he saw Lu Ming flee. Where do you think you're going? Chu Chengkong roared and chased after Lu Ming. Don't go. Fight with me. Chu Chengkong shouted as he chased after Lu Ming. I'll see you later. Lu Ming said and continued flying. It was not that he was afraid of Chu Chengkong and did not dare to fight with him. It was that killing Chu Chengkong now would be detrimental to his future plans. It was better to leave Chu Chengkong for later. Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Garuda technique to the extreme and turned into a Garuda. His speed was extremely fast. The cultivation techniques of the War God clan were proficient in offensive techniques. Speed wasn't their forte. The distance between the two of them grew further and further. Lu Ming, stay here. Suddenly, two young men appeared in front of them. One of them shouted. What a coincidence. Lu Ming smirked because one of the young men was an old acquaintance. It was Yuan Yu, who had gone to Ninju Heavenly King Mansion to fight for the Divine Power Source Pearl. Yuan Yu's innate talent was astonishingly high. At the first heavenly layer of King God Realm, his god origin had awakened for the second time. Now, Yuan Yu had broken through to the second King God Realm. When he saw Lu Ming, his eyes exploded with a shocking killing intent. It was because of Lu Ming that he had lost the God Power Source Bead. That Divine Power Source Pearl was a gift from the Nine Blades Heavenly King residence. When he found out the truth, he was so angry that he couldn't sleep for 3 months. Now that he saw Lu Ming, his anger grew. Lu Ming, let's fight again. Yuan Yu roared. His second heavenly layer of King God Realm cultivation was fully unleashed. Together with the God origin that had awakened for the second time, he performed his strongest move and attacked Lu Ming. However, as soon as he launched his attack, his eyes widened rapidly. This was because a group of 9-clawed divine dragons were charging towards him. Roar. A total of 36 9-clawed dragon drowned him in an instant. Then, Yuan Yu and the young man disappeared and reappeared outside the sphere. Yuan Yu almost vomited blood. He was stunned. After more than 100 years, his cultivation had reached the second heavenly layer of King God Realm. He thought that he could defeat Lu Ming. However, he was killed by Lu Ming in one move. He suffered a huge blow. Lu Ming killed Yuan Yu and the other youth in seconds. His figure did not stop as he continued to fly. Soon, Lu Ming got rid of Chu Chengkong completely and continued to fly towards the central area. About half a day later, a dazzling light shone in front of him. Lu Ming saw a light shield. It was like an inverted bowl that was placed on the ground. Inside the light shield was a flat ground. There were 20 fighting stages on the ground. On the side of each battle platform, there was a seat. These were the divine thrones. This round was called the God Seats. It was to fight for the God Seats. First, the 20 participants would be selected. Then, the participants would be ranked according to their battle chi. After the ranking was determined, the last participant would start to challenge the others. Finally, the top 10 and top 3 would be determined. Many people had gathered near the light shield. Apparently, many of them had arrived. These people were wearing battle suits of different colors. Some were green, some were blue, and some were blue. Some were even purple. Lu Ming swept his gaze over them. Su Wuya, Yi Jifan, Yuan Jia. There was no doubt that the 10 prodigies of the holy capital were wearing purple battle suits. Di Jenny, Qian Shangxian, and the others were also wearing purple battle suits. These people stood in the air like cranes in a flock of chickens. They were extremely dazzling. The others kept a distance from them. They were afraid that they would be killed and their battle chi would be stolen. Everyone kept a distance from each other and kept their guard up. Lu Ming's arrival attracted many people's attention. Some people's eyes were filled with hostility and greed. Although Lu Ming's battlesuit was not purple, it emitted an intense blue light. Apparently, it had reached the limit of the blue battlesuit. It was only one step away from purple. If they could kill Lu Ming, they would definitely obtain a large amount of battle chi. Many people had bad intentions but did not attack. They were afraid that with so many people, if they attacked Lu Ming, they would be the oriole behind the mantis stalking the cicada. They were afraid that others would take advantage of them. Among them, there was one with the coldest killing intent. It was Wu Fan's gaze. Wu Fan was also one of the 10 talents of the Saint Capital. His battlesuit was purple, but it was only light purple. He stared at Lu Ming and wanted to kill Lu Ming. However, as one of the 10 talents of the Saint Capital, he had many opponents and many people were staring at him. He did not dare to attack here. He was afraid that he would be attacked by others. Lu Ming stood in the air and waited quietly. As time passed, more and more people gathered here, and more people came. Soon, there were about 500 people around the light shield. Rumble! Chu Chengkong flew over quickly, bringing with him a strong wind. Lu Ming! Chu Chengkong roared. Chu Chengkong roared furiously. As soon as he saw Lu Ming, he wanted to charge at him. However, in the next moment, he stopped and his body stiffened. The reason for that was because many gazes had landed on him. Those gazes were all filled with greed. The color of Chu Chengkong's battlesuit was too dazzling. It was dark purple and emitted an intense purple light. How much battle chi did it contain? There were not many people whose battlesuits were comparable to Chu Chengkong's. Even the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital were staring at Chu Chengkong, eager to make a move. Chu Chengkong did not dare to attack and made a defensive posture. In the end, no one attacked. There were too many masters present and they were all wary of each other. The first to attack would definitely be targeted by others. If they were not careful, they would become the prey of others. Chapter 32:21. Around the light shield, everyone was wary of each other. In the end, no one dared to make a move. Time passed by second. In the end, there were about 500 people around the light shield. Obviously, the rest had been eliminated. More than 10,000 people had entered, but after 3 months of fighting, there were only about 500 people left. These 500 people were all elites and they were going to fight for the last 20 great thrones. As time passed, the atmosphere became more tense and dignified. Everyone stared at the great thrones in the light shield and got ready for battle. Buzz! Suddenly, the light barrier trembled slightly and shone brightly. In the next moment, with a bang, the light barrier exploded and turned into specks of light that dissipated. Swoosh! 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 As soon as the light shield dissipated, figures dashed toward the 20 fighting platforms. More than 500 people split into 20 groups and charged toward 20 different fighting platforms. Get lost! You're the one who should get lost. While they were still in the air, a scuffle broke out. In an instant, dozens of people were killed in the scuffle. Swoosh! Finger radiance was shocking. Su Wuya, the leader of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital, pointed with 2 fingers. Every time he pointed, a young man's body would be pierced and he would die on the spot. In an instant, more than 10 geniuses were killed by Su Wuya. It's the boundless finger. Let's go! The remaining young men were terrified and did not dare to compete with Su Wuya. They left the fighting platform and dashed toward other fighting platforms. In another fighting platform, sword radiance flashed and sword chi swept across 90,000 miles. Blood spurted out and more than 10 young men were killed by a sword. It was Di Jenny, the white-haired Di Jenny. The young man who was in the same fighting platform as him was terrified and left the fighting platform as well. The 10 heroes of the Holy Capital, Di Jenny, and the other top geniuses did not charge toward the same fighting platform. Instead they spread out. It was not yet time for them to fight. With these geniuses on the fighting platforms, the other geniuses could not compete at all. Even the second-tier geniuses were easily killed. These top-notch geniuses easily occupied a fighting stage. Swoosh! Lu Ming also dashed toward a fighting platform. This fighting platform did not have any first-tier geniuses. Kill! Suddenly, at least a dozen attacks flew towards Lu Ming. The color of Lu Ming's battlesuit was extremely rich. Many geniuses had their eyes on Lu Ming. Block it! Lu Ming roared on purpose, using the ice shackles and 9 layers of crimson gold armor to block the attack. Boom! Boom! More than a dozen attacks landed on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming deliberately shook his body violently, pretending that he was no match for them, and retreated rapidly. The main reason was that there were too many people flying towards the battle platform. There were actually more than 100 people, and the number was still increasing. Because the other battle platforms had terrifying experts overseeing them, it was difficult for the others to compete. They all flew to this battle platform. With so many people around, Lu Ming was not that stupid. How tiring would it be to fight to the death right now? Therefore, he feigned weakness and pretended to be defeated. After Lu Ming was repelled, someone wanted to take advantage of the situation to pursue and kill Lu Ming. However, he was killed by someone else with 1 slash. With so many people, how could they all attack Lu Ming at the same time? They were all staring at each other. As long as there was a gap, they would attack ruthlessly. No one was staring at Lu Ming anymore. This battle platform erupted into a chaotic battle. Lu Ming dashed left and right in the crowd, looking very weak. Then, some people began to comment. This Lu Ming is indeed not good enough. He doesn't have first-tier combat strength. The other first-tier geniuses are dominating the crowd. No one dares to challenge them. They've already become gods. I was right. Although Lu Ming's combat strength is not bad, it's probably only at the peak of the 2nd tier. He can't reach the 1st tier. Seeing Lu Ming like this, many people gloated, thinking that Lu Ming's strength was only a... However, there were a few young people who frowned. They were the geniuses who had been killed by Lu Ming previously, such as Lan Feng and the others. When Lu Ming killed them previously, they felt that Lu Ming's strength was as deep as the sea and unfathomable. With such combat strength, he should not be so weak. This guy is pretending to be weak. Lan Feng guessed Lu Ming's purpose. He wished he could remind those geniuses to work together to defeat Lu Ming. Unfortunately, he could only think about it. On Lu Ming's battle platform, the battle was extremely fierce. There were more than 100 people fighting. There were only 2 such intense battle platforms. Every moment, there would be people being killed, turning into light and disappearing. Even so, the battle was still fierce. That was because they would not really die if they were killed here. Without any worries, they naturally fought with their lives on the line. Soon, there were only a few dozen people left on this battle platform, and the number was still decreasing. In the end, there were only a dozen people left fighting. These people were the 2nd-tier geniuses. Their cultivation bases were at the 3rd heaven of the King God realm, and they had awakened their divine power factor twice. Their combat strength was about the same. After a chaotic battle, they were all injured, and their combat strength was greatly reduced. At this moment, Lu Ming stepped out. Lu Ming clasped his hands behind his back and stood in the air. He looked arrogant and said, "All of you get lost. This battle platform is mine, F*CK off, die for me. Kid, your battle chi is mine." Seeing Lu Ming's appearance, someone immediately attacked Lu Ming. "Stubborn," Lu Ming said in a pretentious manner. He then took out the Gate of Domination. Boom! The God's Gate became 10,000 zhong tall and pressed down. Those geniuses were already injured, so their combat strength was greatly reduced. How could they resist the God's Gate? They were killed by Lu Ming's God's Gate. Oh no, it's the secret technique of the origin. The remaining geniuses were shocked. Kill. Lu Ming continued to control the God's Gate and pressed down. Bam, bam, bam. More geniuses were killed by the God's Gate. More than 10 Sky Prides were instantly killed. Not a single one was left alive. Lu Ming was the only one left on the battle platform. Lu Ming smiled and walked toward the throne. Shameless. Shameless. He deliberately waited for others to be injured before attacking. How shameless. Outside, someone shouted, thinking that Lu Ming was taking advantage of the situation. Shameless? This is called strategy. Yu Linglong retorted. The argument outside couldn't change the fact inside. Lu Ming walked toward a divine throne and sat down on it. He then began to size it up. He saw Autumn Moon. Autumn Moon also took a throne and sat on the battle platform. It was worth mentioning that Autumn Moon's combat strength was also extremely shocking. She had completely reached the 1st level and shocked many people. Autumn Moon smiled at Lu Ming. Come on, get into the top 10. Lu Ming cheered for Autumn Moon. At this moment, There was only one battle platform left. There were only a dozen geniuses left. Chapter 32-22. Lan Ling was also competing in that battle stage. Unfortunately, although she had awakened the Origin Source secret skill, she had not awakened the Origin Source divine power factor enough. There was an extremely powerful supreme talent in that battle stage. Although he had not awakened the Origin Source secret skill, he had mastered a few other terrifying secret skills. His combat strength was shocking, and he was even stronger than Blue Maple. In the end, Lan Ling was killed out of this world, and she was eliminated from the competition. After a round of killing, the last battle stage was occupied by that powerful supreme talent. Although that supreme talent was not in the first tier, he was still at the peak of the second tier. Most importantly, the color of his battle suit was extremely rich. It was actually purple. It was evident that he was quite lucky. The purple battle suit had greatly increased his combat strength. Hence, he was able to defeat the other supreme talents and obtain victory, sitting on the last great divine throne. All 20 great divine thrones were taken. The 20 of them looked at each other from afar, and sparks flew. In the future, the 20 of them would be their opponents. The top 10 was the goal of many of them. At this stage, it was only meaningful to be in the top 10. There was no point in ranking between the 11th and 20th places. Only those in the top 10 would have the right to establish their own families. Only those in the top 3 could make a request to the Saint Emperor. That was everyone's goal. At this moment, the Imperial Advisor stepped out and stood in the air above the spherical world. He waved his hand, and a ray of light entered the spherical world. Then he spoke. His voice could be heard directly in the spherical world. All right, the top 20 have been decided. Now, I will make a preliminary ranking based on the amount of battle chi you have obtained. The Imperial Advisor's voice rang in the ears of Lu Ming and the rest. First place, D. Jenny. Then, the Imperial Advisor announced. D. Jenny's battle chi was the richest. This was within everyone's expectations. This was because one could roughly tell from the color of the battlesuit. D. Jenny's purple battlesuit was the richest. Second place, Su Wuya. Third place, Qian Shengxian. Fourth place, Chu Chengkong. 13th place, Autumn Moon. 18th place, Lu Ming. 19th place, Yu Xing. Soon, the Imperial Preceptor announced the battle chi rankings of the 20 participants. Of course, this was only the initial ranking. The final ranking still needed to be determined through challenges. I'm actually ranked 18th, and there are 2 people lower than me. Lu Ming muttered. He had purposely refrained from obtaining battle chi in order to lower his ranking in the final battle. He had not expected that there would be someone with a lower ranking than him. Rumble. At this moment, the 20 battle stages under their feet began to move and converged into an even larger battle stage. 20 top-notch geniuses sat on 20 divine thrones and were scattered around. According to the rules, the last person will start the challenge. Everyone only has one chance to challenge. If they win, they can choose to continue the challenge or take a break. If you fail your challenge, you won't have the chance to continue. You can only wait for others to challenge you. Now, we'll start from the 20th place. Gao Song, who do you want to challenge? The voice of the Imperial Advisor continued. Ranked 20th was Gao Song from Heavenly King Lu Guang's residence. Heavenly King Lu Guang's residence was ranked second among the 27 Heavenly King residences. It was ranked higher than Heavenly King residences. Gao Song was the strongest genius in Heavenly King Lu Guang's residence. He was also one of the first-tier geniuses. Gao Song took a step forward and landed on the battle stage. He looked around and finally fixed his gaze on a young man. Yu Zhouqian, come out and fight. Gao Song pointed at one of the young men. He wants to challenge Yu Zhouqian. Many people were shocked. Yu Zhouqian was one of the 10 prodigies of the Holy Capital. He was ranked 9th in the battle chi rankings. That's normal. If it were me, I would also choose Yu Zhouqian. Everyone wants to be in the top 10 now. Gao Song's goal is obviously to be in the top 10 as well. He knows that with his strength, it's impossible for him to be in the top 3. So, his goal is to be in the top 10. Challenging Yu Zhouqian, who's ranked 9th, is the most suitable choice. As long as he defeats Yu Zhouqian, he'll be able to jump to the 9th place and wait for others to challenge him. Even if he loses a battle and falls back 1 place, he'll still be in the 10th place. Someone explained. That explanation won the approval of the crowd. Why didn't he challenge those who were ranked higher? Wouldn't that be safer? The reason was simple. Those who were ranked higher were stronger. Gao Song only had one chance to challenge them. If he failed, he would be stuck in the top 20 and would never have another chance. Therefore, choosing Yu Zhouqian, who was ranked 9th, was the best choice. It's your mistake to choose me, Yu Zhouqian said indifferently. He took a step forward and landed on the battle stage. Is that so? I've long wanted to meet the 10 prodigies of the holy capital. Since Chu Chengkong can defeat Yuan Jia, I can also defeat you. Gao Song smiled faintly and was very confident. Chu Chengkong and Yuan Jia snorted at the same time. Yuan Jia was inexplicably implicated and was unhappy. Chu Chengkong was disdainful. How could Gao Song be compared to him? Boom! Boom! Both of them stopped talking nonsense and unleashed their powerful auras. Then, the two figures collided with each other like shooting stars. A terrifying explosion was heard. The violent force swept out in all directions like a stormy sea. The two of them engaged in a fierce battle. Both of them were ranked first. There was no doubt that they were very strong. They were both in the 3rd King God realm and had awakened their divine origin twice. Moreover, they had awakened their origin secret techniques. On the surface, the two of them seemed to be on par with each other. In fact, even if they seemed to be on par with each other, there was still a difference in their actual combat strength. The use of origin secret techniques, the mastery of other divine skills, secret techniques, and one's combat awareness and skills all determine the strength of one's combat strength. For example, if both of them had a strength of 100 gene, and one was an ordinary intellectual while the other was a well-trained special forces soldier, how could their combat strength be the same? There was also someone like Lu Ming. Other than his divine origin and origin secret techniques, he had also mastered other divine skills and secret techniques. His combat strength was also shocking. Therefore, there was also a gap between Yu Zhouqian and Gao Song's combat strength. Moreover, Gao Song was wearing a blue combat suit while Yu Zhouqian was wearing a purple combat suit. It boosted his combat strength more. After the two of them exchanged dozens of blows, Gao Song started to lose. He was at a disadvantage and was suppressed by Yu Zhouqian. Everyone at the scene was watching carefully. It was rare to see a battle between prodigies of this level. Lu Ming was also watching carefully. Get down! In the end, Yu Zhouqian roared and exerted all his strength to launch his strongest attack. Chapter 32-23. Yu Zhouqian and Gao Song used their strongest moves and began their battle. In the end, Gao Song's body shook violently and he was sent flying out of the stage, spitting out blood. Gao Song lost. In this battle, being sent out of the stage was considered a loss. Also, being killed was considered a loss. When Gao Song lost, waves of battle chi flew out of his body and merged into Yu Zhouqian's body, causing the color of Yu Zhouqian's battle robe to become even darker. You can absorb battle chi even if you defeat him. Lu Ming's eyes lit up and he was overjoyed. He had made the right bet. The expressions of the others also changed. If they were defeated, half of their battle chi would be absorbed. This would have a huge impact on the rest of the battle. Everyone had different thoughts in their minds. Gao Song's expression was extremely ugly. He was originally ranked last. Now that he had lost his challenge, he no longer had a chance. His ranking was fixed at 20th. As for Yu Zhouqian, he smiled gently and returned to his throne. Yu Zhouqian has won. The battle continues. Nether Xing, ranked 19th, begins his challenge. The Imperial Advisor continued to announce. Nether Xing was the #1 prodigy of the Abysmal Heavenly Palace. He was also very strong and ranked above the first tier. His figure was like a ghost as he rushed onto the fighting ring in a flash. Then, his gaze swept across the crowd. Some people's eyes flickered, extremely wary of Nether Xing. Many people were guessing who Nether Xing would challenge. Finally, Nether Xing's gaze fell on Lu Ming. "Kid, get down here and die." Nether Xing pointed at Lu Ming and said coldly. "He's challenging Lu Ming?" Many people's hearts moved, feeling a little surprised. He had originally thought that Dark Star would do the same as Gao Song and directly challenge someone in the top 10. That would be the most efficient way to obtain a spot in the top 10. Challenging someone in the top 10 first and then challenging someone else would consume more divine power. Moreover, Nether Xing was challenging Lu Ming, who was ranked 18th. Challenging me. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. To be honest, this was exactly what he wanted. Lu Ming also took a step forward and came to the fighting ring, standing opposite Yu Xing. Brat, you will suffer a terrible fate for killing the people of my Ninth Abyss Heavenly King residence. Yu Xing said coldly. Ghostly energy swirled around him, making him look like a ghost king from hell. So what if I killed him? I don't mind telling you that I've killed a few more before you. You'll be added to the list later. Lu Ming said indifferently, as if he did not place Nether Star in his eyes at all. I will make you die a horrible death. Dark light constantly flowed out of Nether Xing's eyes as ghostly chi surged around him. His figure flickered as he charged towards Lu Ming. Ghost chi churned, and a huge ghost claw grabbed at Lu Ming. Ancient God tactic, moon slashing. Lu Ming's heart stirred and he unleashed the ancient god body. His body expanded and he transformed into a green-armored ancient god. Then, a huge spear appeared in his hand and he slashed out. The crescent-shaped spear light slashed towards Yu Xing's demonic claw. He actually dared to clash head-on with the people from the Ninth Abyss Heavenly King residence. How foolish! Seeing this scene, many people shook their heads. Everyone knew that the attacks of the Ninth Abyss Heavenly King residence were extremely strange and could affect the soul. Once they clashed with it, they would be invaded by the opponent's strange energy. Wasn't Lu Ming digging his own grave by doing this? Dang! Nether Xing's eyes also showed a smug look. Cold light flashed as the power of his demonic claw increased. Boom! The crescent-shaped spear light collided with Yu Xing's demonic claw, erupting with a violent explosion and overflowing energy. Sure enough, a strange energy charged towards Lu Ming, attacking Lu Ming's soul. However, Lu Ming's soul was protected by the startling feather scroll, so soul attacks were ineffective against him. Nether Xing did not know that his attack was ineffective against Lu Ming. He smiled viciously and said, "Die!" His hand was like a knife, slicing towards Lu Ming's head. He wanted to use this move to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming sneered, his aura exploding. The spear in his hand turned into a dazzling spear light that shot towards Yu Xing. This was the final move of the 3 Armageddon strikes, Exploding Star. The huge spear collided with Yu Xing and exploded. A terrifying destructive energy enveloped Yu Xing. Ah! How can you still use your full strength? Yu Xing screamed as he retreated, his eyes filled with disbelief. He originally wanted to take advantage of the fact that Lu Ming's soul was affected and kill Lu Ming in one fell swoop. He did not expect Lu Ming to be completely unaffected. Small tricks are useless against me, Lu Ming said indifferently. You have a treasure that can protect your soul? Yu Xing thought of something and roared, "Kill!" Lu Ming was too lazy to explain and charged towards Yu Xing. Purgatory Ghoul King, come out! Yu Xing roared as ghostly chi surged around him. Then with a mournful howl, a huge evil ghost took shape and pounced at Lu Ming. This was Yu Xing's origin secret technique. Purgatory Ghoul King. Gate of God appear. Lu Ming muttered as he circulated the 10 types of divine power in his body. The Gate of God appeared, emitting a blinding light that suppressed the Purgatory Ghoul King. The Purgatory Ghoul King roared as he slashed at the Gate of God with his ghost head blade. The Gate of God trembled slightly, emitting an ancient light as the Purgatory Ghoul King retreated. Bzzzt! The Gate of God continued to suppress him. After Yu Xing's soul attack was ineffective against Lu Ming, he was weaker than other prodigies of the same level, so Lu Ming could easily deal with him. He controlled the Gate of God and continued to suppress him. After a dozen or so moves, the Purgatory Ghoul King exploded, and the Gate of God slammed into Yu Xing's shoulder. Yu Xing screamed as he was sent flying. Half of his body had exploded, and he looked terrible. Ah, brat, I won't let you go. Nether Star roared and dragged his crippled body down the stage. With a wave of Lu Ming's hands, 9 ice chains flew out and shrouded the entire fighting ring. The Sun Moon Divine Power had already awakened its origin divine power factor. This made the ice chains even more frightening. The entire fighting ring was filled with coldness and was about to be frozen. Nether Star smashed his way through the ice, but he did not manage to break out of it. Shattering Star. Lu Ming shot out his spear again, and destructive power swept toward Yu Xing. Then, the Gate of God continued to suppress him. 2 killer moves were used at the same time. Yu Xing let out a blood-curdling scream as his body completely exploded. The next moment, Yu Xing's body appeared outside the sphere. He had been killed by Lu Ming and had been forced out of the sphere. Damn it, damn it. Even after being killed, Netherstar continued to roar, his temper as violent as thunder. This brat deserves to die. Some of the 9 Serenity's Heavenly King Residence's experts were as thin as bones, and they were covered in black robes. They exuded a cold aura as they spoke. Many people couldn't help but distance themselves from these people. Chapter 32-24. Many of the onlookers were stunned by this result. Previously, many people thought that Lu Ming did not possess first-grade strength and was at most at the peak of second-grade strength. But now, Lu Ming had killed Serene Xing. But why did Lu Ming not even dare to fight Chu Chengkong when he met him? Why did he run away immediately? Someone asked. This is very simple. The main thing is that Chu Chengkong is too powerful. Given Chu Chengkong's combat capability, he can definitely compete for the top 3. Although Lu Ming is also at the first level, he is no match for Chu Chengkong. He knows his own limits and knows that he is no match for Chu Chengkong. That's why he ran away. I think his goal is the top 10. Also, although he defeated Serene Xing, he has a treasure that protects his soul. Serene Xing's killing move is useless against him. It will be easier for him to deal with Serene Xing. A white-haired old man explained, as if he had seen through everything. Senior is wise and insightful. A group of people flattered him. On the battle stage, after Lu Ming killed Serene Xing, a large amount of battle chi flew from Serene Xing's body into Lu Ming's battlesuit. Lu Ming's battlesuit emitted a bright light. The color was extremely rich, and then the color changed. The blue color faded and was replaced by purple. Lu Ming's battlesuit finally leveled up to purple. His battlesuit was originally at the peak of blue. After absorbing half of Serene Xing's battle chi, it finally leveled up. However, it was only a light purple color. There was still a big gap between it and Di Jianyi, Chu Chengkong, and the others. Serene Xing has failed his challenge. The Imperial Advisor announced and continued. Now Lu Ming, who is ranked 18th, will continue his challenge. Lu Ming is going to continue his challenge. He just fought. I wonder who he will challenge now. Everyone guessed. Lu Ming stood on the battle stage and did not retreat. He pointed his spear at a young man and said, Jin Zhou, come down and fight. The young man who was challenged by Lu Ming's face darkened slightly. Then he stepped out and landed on the fighting stage. This Lu Ming actually challenged the Gold Continent. It's very simple. The Gold Continent is the weakest out of all the people here, and can only be considered as the peak of the second grade. If I don't challenge him, who else can I challenge? That's true. The Gold Continent was the one with the most intense competition on the last stage. Lan Ling was defeated by him. Although this person had obtained a lot of battle chi and was wearing a light purple battlesuit, he was ranked 15th in the beginning. However, he was not very strong and was currently the weakest among all of them. He had yet to awaken an origin source secret technique. Even though I haven't awakened my ultimate technique, it won't be easy for you to defeat me. Wind God's tribulation, die! Jin Zhou roared as he unleashed his full strength, unleashing his strongest secret technique and killing move as he charged towards Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming directly brought out the Sovereign's Gate and smashed it towards the Gold Continent. Although Jin Zhou had mastered several powerful secret techniques, he wasn't strong enough. Under the suppression of the God's Gate, his body shook violently. After a few moves, he was sent flying to the edge of the fighting stage. His hand almost exploded, and blood kept flowing out of his mouth. Boom! Lu Ming continued to control the Sovereign's Gate. Jin Zhou gritted his teeth, turned around, and rushed down the fighting stage to admit defeat. If he admitted defeat, he still had one more chance to challenge. If he was killed by Lu Ming and killed his way out of this world, he wouldn't even have the chance to challenge again. The purple battle suit really boosts one's battle strength. Lu Ming muttered with a smile. Just now, under the enhancement of the purple battle suit, his strength had increased by a level. Even the power of the Sovereign's Gate had become stronger. That was why he could defeat Jin Zhou so easily. After Jin Zhou admitted defeat, half of his battle chi was absorbed by Lu Ming. The color of Lu Ming's battlesuit suddenly deepened, slowly breaking away from the light purple category. Lu Ming's defeat of Jin Zhou wasn't unexpected. After all, Jin Zhou's strength was only at the second level. Lu Ming wins this battle. Lu Ming, will you continue to challenge, or will you take a break? The Imperial Preceptor continued to announce. Continue. Lu Ming's voice could be heard from afar. Many people's eyes lit up. Lu Ming wanted to continue to challenge. If he wanted to continue, he could only challenge the top 14 people. Every one of the top 14 people had extremely strong battle strength. Every one of them had the potential to enter the top 10. This time, they should be able to test Lu Ming's battle strength. Wu Fan, come out and fight. Just as the crowd was thinking, Lu Ming's voice rang out again. He wants to challenge Wu Fan? That's strange. Wu Fan is ranked 14th. He actually wants to challenge Wu Fan. I thought he would directly challenge the top 10 people. If he challenges like this, won't he use up a lot of divine power? I know, he seems to have a grudge against Wu Fan. However, it's unwise to challenge him like this. The crowd was in an uproar. Many people couldn't figure out Lu Ming's thoughts. Normally, those who challenged later on would directly challenge the top 10 people, just like Gao Song. This was because this was the best battle plan. The number of battles would be minimized. Now that everyone was an expert, every battle would consume a lot of divine power. If they were injured and couldn't recover in time, it would greatly affect their battle strength. It would be very disadvantageous for the later battles. Directly challenging the top 10 was the best choice. However, Lu Ming chose to challenge Wu Fan, who was ranked 14th. Moreover, Wu Fan was the son of the Imperial Advisor. The Imperial Advisor's face darkened slightly, but he didn't say anything. You want to challenge me? Very good, very good. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Seeing that he was being challenged by Lu Ming, Wu Fan's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Taking a step forward, Wu Fan came to the fighting ring. His body was surrounded by a strange gray fog, which made him look like he was drifting in and out of place. Boom! Powerful auras exploded from both of them at the same time. When they met in mid-air, it created a violent wave of energy. Wu Fan wanted to kill Lu Ming because of Lan Ling, and Lu Ming wanted to kill Wu Fan because of Blue Merchant. Both of them wanted to kill the other party. Ancient Sorcerer Fist. Kill! Wu Fan shouted coldly as he charged towards Lu Ming. Like a mountain pressing down on Lu Ming, he threw a punch at Lu Ming. Divine Dragon Celestial Loxana. Lu Ming threw out continuous punches with both of his fists. 36 nine-clawed dragons were formed and they pounced towards Wu Fan. At the same time, Lu Ming took a step forward and a huge spear shot towards Wu Fan like a mountain range. At this moment, Lu Ming maintained the quadruple combat strength of the battle character incantation and the green-armored ancient god body. His strength was at its peak. Ancient sorcerer body. Wu Fan roared as his body swelled. His muscles bulged and he was filled with majestic strength. Boom! Boom! He threw out continuous punches with both of his fists, piercing through the air and creating a violent whistling sound. With every punch, a 9-clawed dragon exploded. After dozens of punches, all 36 9-clawed dragons exploded. Chapter 32-25. Wu Fan threw out dozens of punches in an instant. The power of each punch was shocking. The 36 9-clawed dragons were defeated in an instant. The last punch landed on Lu Ming's long spear. Dang! A deafening sound reverberated throughout the area. The long spear vibrated violently. Lu Ming and Wu Fan's bodies shook slightly and they both took a few steps back. What a strong power! Lu Ming's eyes flickered slightly. Wu Fan's ancient sorcerer body seemed to be similar to the ancient god body. After using it, one's power would increase tremendously. However, Wu Fan's ancient sorcerer body was obviously not as strong as Lu Ming's ancient god body. Lu Ming took a step forward and waved his long spear as he continued to attack Wu Fan. Sky Splitter, Moon Slash, Starburst. Lu Ming used the 3 annihilation strikes consecutively. The spear radiance enveloped Wu Fan's body. Wu Fan shouted loudly as he unleashed his power to the maximum to fight against Lu Ming. However, after more than 10 moves, Wu Fan started to lose. He retreated and was gradually suppressed by Lu Ming. In a battle of pure power, Lu Ming had the upper hand. Lu Ming is so strong. He is only in the first level of the King God realm. Why is his power so shocking? He must have mastered a few terrifying secret skills. For example, a secret skill that can double one's fighting strength. His divine power is also extremely strange. It is so dense that it is frightening. He is indeed the chosen one. As a peerless genius, he can fight with someone who is 2 levels higher than him. I have lived for countless years and I have never seen anyone like him. Back then, the outstanding prince was only a... I'm afraid he is not as good as Wu Fan. Many people were amazed that Lu Ming could force Wu Fan to this stage. On the other hand, the imperial tutor's face darkened. 100 beasts kill. At this moment, Wu Fan shouted angrily. His body emitted a strange red light. The red light was as red as blood, as if fresh blood was flowing. Following which, the red light turned into different divine beasts. There were divine dragons, phoenixes, cheelants, tautai. A total of dozens of divine beasts pounced towards Lu Ming, each of them emitting a monstrous baleful aura. Boom! Lu Ming struck a divine dragon with his spear. The long spear shook violently. Lu Ming felt a terrifying force rushing towards him. He could not help but retreat. At the same time, a strange red light followed the long spear and tried to penetrate Lu Ming's body. Being touched by the red light, Lu Ming felt a sharp pain in his body. What a terrifying power! This is an origin source secret technique. Lu Ming knew that Wu Fan had finally used his origin source secret technique and was going all out. Sovereign's Gate. Without the slightest hesitation, Lu Ming unleashed the Sovereign's Gate and sent it crashing down. The Gate of Gods emitted an ancient light, and a powerful suction force spread out, acting on the divine beasts. Boom! Boom! The god beasts slammed into the Sovereign's Gate, unleashing all sorts of terrifying attacks. The two sides constantly clashed. Shatter it! Lu Ming shouted coldly. The 10 types of divine power in his body surged. With the Sovereign's divine power as the core, they crazily surged towards the Sovereign's Gate. The Sovereign's Gate hummed and vibrated, unleashing an even stronger power. It was like a heavenly monument crushing down. Bam! Bam! Several mythological beasts exploded one after another. Wu Fan's face changed. The red light on his body became even brighter, and his entire body was covered in blood. The divine beasts formed by the red light roared, and their power increased. Some divine beasts tried to avoid the Sovereign's Gate from the sides and attack Lu Ming directly. However, the Sovereign's Gate released a powerful suction force. It was like a black hole. The powerful suction force was like a cage, attracting the divine beasts. The collision continued, and both sides fought with all their might. Exploding star. At this moment, Lu Ming held the long spear in his hand and stabbed it towards Wu Fan. A terrifying spear light shot towards Wu Fan. How can you still have energy left? Wu Fan roared in shock. He had already used all his strength to fight against Lu Ming. He no longer had the energy to activate other secret skills. However, how could Lu Ming still have energy left to activate other killer moves? Naturally, he did not know that Lu Ming had the quantifying formula. In order to deal with this assessment, Lu Ming had stored a large amount of divine power in the quantifying formula. Although controlling the Sovereign's Gate drained Lu Ming of his divine power, the quantifying formula immediately sent divine power into Lu Ming's body. The 10-star nuclei in his body were instantly replenished. Naturally, he had the ability to launch other attacks. Boom! The spear light formed by the exploding star hit Wu Fan and exploded. The destructive force completely enveloped Wu Fan. Wu Fan's body exploded inch by inch. He could no longer maintain the origin secret skill. The divine beasts collapsed in an instant. The Sovereign's Gate seized the opportunity and pressed down, smashing directly on Wu Fan's head. Wu Fan screamed. His body exploded and he died on the spot. Then, he reappeared outside the spherical world. Lu Ming. Wu Fan's face was completely distorted. Like an evil spirit, he emitted a shocking murderous intent. He, one of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital, an unparalleled genius, had actually lost. Moreover, he had lost to Lu Ming. In his eyes, Lu Ming was his rival in love. He could not accept this. Moreover, now that he had lost, it meant that he had completely lost this assessment and had no chance of being in the top 10. He was about to explode in anger. Before the Taishu dynasty started, he had said that he would definitely be in the top 10 and even the top 3. But now, he had no chance of being in the top 10. What he had said in the past was simply a fart. It was a slap to his face. All of this was caused by Lu Ming. Damn bastard, bastard, Wu Fan roared angrily like a wild beast. Fan, calm down. Victory and defeat are common in war. A voice rang in Wu Fan's ears. Wu Fan's body shook and the vicious aura on his body finally dissipated a little. Yes, father. Wu Fan nodded at the state preceptor. The one who had spoken was naturally the Grand Tutor. You have to learn from this incident and strive to become stronger. The Grand Tutor nodded. Although the Grand Tutor said this, when he turned to look at Lu Ming, a cold killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. After killing Wu Fan, half of Wu Fan's battle chi had been absorbed by Lu Ming. The battle chi on Lu Ming's body emitted a dazzling radiance. Its color had completely turned into a dark purple. It was second only to the battle chi on Di Jenny and Su Wuya. Not bad. If I absorb more, it should be able to turn into a golden battle chi. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Lu Ming has won this battle. Lu Ming, do you want to continue the challenge or take a break? The Grand Tutor continued to ask. Continue. Lu Ming's answer was simple. He then pointed his spear at a youth and said, Yuan Jie, come down and fight. This time, Lu Ming had challenged Yuan Jie, one of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital. Yuan Jie was ranked 12th in the previous rankings, 2 ranks higher than Wu Fan. He actually challenged Yuan Jie. Is he trying to climb up the rank step by step? Qiu Yu, who is ranked 13th, is one of his own. That's why he didn't challenge him. He is really trying to climb up the rank step by step. Does he have so much divine power? Such a battle will consume a lot of divine power. Chapter 32-26. The order of Lu Ming's challenge was really confusing. R. A. N. W. E. N. W. 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 R. A. N. W. E. N. A. C. O. M. Many people were confused. Obviously, he wants to climb up step by step to absorb battle chi and upgrade his battlesuit to increase his strength. Lu Ming's goal is not as simple as being in the top 10. Looks like he wants to be in the top 3. If I'm not wrong, he must have a treasure that can store divine power. Some experienced people finally guessed Lu Ming's purpose. However, they were still confused. Although treasures that could store divine power were rare, there were still some in the Taishu sacred capital. However, most of these treasures could only store 1 or 2 times the amount of divine power a person possessed. However, in such a battle between geniuses, even if they stored 2 or 3 times the divine power, it would not be enough. Although they did not have the same idea, their guesses were close to Lu Ming's plan. Yes, Lu Ming's plan was to climb up step by step and absorb others' battle chi to upgrade his battlesuit. That was why Lu Ming had stopped absorbing battle chi a long time ago. If he had continued to absorb battle chi and absorbed enough battle chi, he would have been ranked at the top right from the start. How would he have had the chance to keep challenging? Moreover, he had not absorbed battle chi as fast as he did now. Now, all the geniuses here had absorbed a large amount of battle chi. As long as he defeated one of them, he would be able to absorb a large amount of battle chi. This speed was really fast and could upgrade his battlesuit. Therefore, when Lu Ming met Chu Chengkong previously, he turned and left instead of fighting with him. Whoosh! Yuan Jie rushed into the fighting ring and pointed his spear at Lu Ming. Strong spear intent spread in all directions. Come on! Yuan Jie's words were simple. As soon as he finished speaking, he charged at Lu Ming. Deadly spear Yuan Jie's attack speed was extremely fast. Every move was a killing move. Lu Ming responded with rapt attention, and the two of them engaged in an intense battle. Yuan Jie was very strong, but his strength was about the same as Wu Fan's. After exchanging a few dozen blows with Lu Ming, he was defeated by Lu Ming and was sent flying out of the fighting ring. Lu Ming had absorbed half of Yuan Jie's battle chi and its color had become more intense. It was comparable to Di Jenny's. After half of Yuan Jie's battle chi was absorbed, his battlesuit was downgraded to a blue battlesuit. This made Yuan Jie's expression turn ugly. The downgrade of his battlesuit would reduce the increase in his combat power, which would be very disadvantageous for him in the following battles. After defeating Yuan Jie, Lu Ming did not stop his challenge. Next, he challenged a prodigy who was ranked 11th. This genius was also very powerful. After exchanging over 100 moves with Lu Ming, he was finally defeated by Lu Ming. Crash! Half of the opponent's battle chi was absorbed by Lu Ming. The color of Lu Ming's battlesuit was so intense that it couldn't be dissolved. However, it was still purple and had not been upgraded. It's really difficult to upgrade it to a gold battlesuit. Lu Ming sighed. His current battle chi had surpassed Di Jenny's, but it had not been upgraded to a gold battlesuit. As for the prodigy who was ranked 11th, his battle chi was already extremely intense. After half of his battle chi was absorbed, his battle chi did not drop in level. Instead, it barely maintained its light purple state. This made him very happy. Lu Ming, do you still want to continue your challenge? The Grand Tutor asked again. Yes. This was Lu Ming's answer. The crowd was already numb. Could it be that Lu Ming was going to fight his way up to first place? Some people couldn't help but think this way. You Zhou, come down and fight me. This time, Lu Ming directly jumped over the 10th place and challenged Yu Zhou, who was ranked 9th. The reason why Lu Ming challenged Yu Zhou was that he had seen Yu Zhou fight before. Hence, he was more confident. Yu Zhou stepped out and landed on the fighting ring. Lu Ming, you are very strong. We don't need to test your strength. Let's go all out and decide the victor. Yu Zhou said. He was very straightforward. His body was shrouded in divine light and a terrifying aura permeated the air. Then, golden carps appeared around his body. There was a total of 12 golden carps floating around Yu Zhou. Each carp was only the size of a palm and looked very lifelike. This was Yu Zhou's secret skill of the origin. There was nothing to test. The moment he attacked, he used his secret skill of the origin, his strongest killing move. Just what I want, Lu Ming said. Divine power surged and the gate of domination appeared. Kill! Yu Zhou shouted and moved his fingers. The 12 carps beside him twisted their bodies and flew towards Lu Ming. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. The carps pierced through the air and let out terrifying whistles. They were like 12 rays of sword light and their speed was extremely fast. Lu Ming waited with rapt attention. 9-layered crimson golden armor appeared on his body and the ice chain surrounded him, forming multiple layers of defense. The gate of domination floated above his head and did not attack. Clang! One of the carps collided with the ice chains. It was as sharp as a sword light. Even with the current toughness of the ice chains, it could not block it. With a sizzling sound, it was cut open and hit several layers of crimson golden armor. In the end, even the 9-layered crimson golden armor could not block it. It left a sword wound on Lu Ming's body. What a strange secret skill of the origin. Each carp is a sword light, an extremely sharp sword light. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then used all his strength to control the gate of domination. A terrifying suction force erupted from the gate of domination and enveloped a large area. The 12 carps were enveloped by the suction force of the gate of domination. Their speed was finally affected and they slowed down a little. At the same time, Lu Ming waved his spear and turned it into countless spear shadows to block the carps. Clang! 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 The 12 carps turned into 12 sword lights and surrounded Lu Ming, constantly attacking him. Many people could not see the carps clearly. They could only see 12 sword lights flying around at an extremely fast speed. Lu Ming is going to lose. Yes, he's being restrained. His secret skill of the origin is astonishing, but now it's being restrained. If he uses his secret skill of the origin, he can only block a few sword lights. Yu Zhou's other sword lights will be enough to defeat him. It was a mistake for him to challenge Yu Zhou. Many people thought that Lu Ming was finally going to lose and stop here. During this time, Lu Ming did try to control the gate of domination to counterattack. However, the 12 carps attacked from different directions. The gate of domination could only send a few flying. He used moves like sky piercing, moon slashing, and star shattering, but they were all blocked by the carps controlled by his opponent. Lu Ming, you are no match for me. Admit defeat, Yu Zhou said. He was confident that Lu Ming could not attack him at all. He was in an invincible position. Chapter 32-27. You're overconfident, Lu Ming said. He wasn't worried at all. www. Was that all he had? Of course not. Extreme Enai. At this moment, Lu Ming bellowed in a low voice. White light suddenly appeared in his eyes, like two whirlpools. A whirlpool suddenly appeared above Yu Zhouqian's head. A terrifying chill was emitted from the whirlpool. In an instant, Yu Zhouqian's body was covered by a layer of ice. Yu Zhouqian's face changed drastically. He unleashed his divine power in an attempt to break free from the chill. However, Lu Ming had already cultivated the Sun-Moon divine power to the point of awakening the origin divine power. The power of the Yin-Yang Eye was even more terrifying. Even if it was just the extreme Yin Eye, it was extremely powerful. This was an ancient secret skill. Although it wasn't the origin secret skill, it was even more powerful than the origin secret skill. An even more terrifying chill emerged from the whirlpool and enveloped Yu Zhouqian's body. He couldn't break free for a while. As his body was covered by the chill, he couldn't circulate his divine power. Naturally, his control over the 12 carps was also greatly reduced. Lu Ming wouldn't let go of such an opportunity. He became one with his spear and rushed out of the encirclement of the 12 carps. He then controlled the gate of domination to suppress Yu Zhouqian. The ancient stone gate exuded a strong aura and was as heavy as a mountain. Bam! Yu Zhouqian was sent flying and spat out blood. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. Lu Ming was about to continue controlling the gate of domination when Yu Zhouqian shouted and admitted defeat. He had no choice but to admit defeat. If he was killed or severely injured by Lu Ming, it would be over for him. If he admitted defeat now, he still had a chance to keep his place in the top 10. You can go down by yourself. Lu Ming didn't continue attacking and stopped. After all, he didn't have any grudges with Yu Zhouqian. He didn't need to kill him. He just needed to defeat him. Yu Zhouqian rushed out of the battle stage. As soon as he was out of the battle stage, he immediately took out a divine pill and swallowed it to recover. If Yu Zhouqian rushed out of the battle platform, it meant that he had lost. Half of his battle chi was absorbed by Lu Ming. Finally, a bright light rushed out from Lu Ming's body. The color of his battle suit began to change. It was no longer purple and was replaced by gold. A pale golden battle suit covered Lu Ming's entire body. He became the first person to own a golden battle suit. So powerful. The golden battle suit boosts my combat power so much. Lu Ming felt it for a moment and was overjoyed. His plan had succeeded. He had indeed absorbed enough battle chi to transform it into a golden battle suit. The golden battle suit's enhancement of combat power was beyond his imagination. He actually has such a powerful secret technique? The others were shocked. Lu Ming not only had the origin source secret technique, but he also had the terrifying extreme Yin pupil. This was beyond many people's expectations. Lu Ming was becoming more and more mysterious in everyone's hearts. Many important figures' eyes flickered. No one knew what they were thinking. On the divine thrones around the battle stage, many prodigies looked solemn, especially those ranked 9th and below. Lu Ming had many tricks up his sleeve, which made them extremely wary. Would Lu Ming continue to challenge? This thought popped up in everyone's mind. Now that Lu Ming had defeated Yu Zhouqian, he had replaced Yu Zhouqian's ranking and became 9th. Yu Zhouqian's ranking had dropped to 10th. His original 10th place had dropped to 11th. Those who were ranked lower had automatically moved back one place. Lu Ming has won this battle. Lu Ming, will you continue to challenge or take a break? The Grand Preceptor asked again. Everyone's eyes fell on Lu Ming. They were all guessing if Lu Ming would continue to challenge. Take a break. This time, Lu Ming finally did not say that he would continue to challenge. Instead, he chose to take a break. He's finally taking a break. For some reason, many people secretly heaved a sigh of relief when they heard Lu Ming say that he was taking a break. Lu Ming had fought all the way until now. If he continued to fight, it would be too heaven-defying. It was difficult for them to accept. Lu Ming's decision to take a break meant that Lu Ming was still normal and could still get tired. Lu Ming was indeed tired. He had enough divine power because he had the quantifying character formula. However, maintaining the state of the green-armored ancient god had consumed too much of his physical strength. He needed a good rest. Lu Ming's body rapidly shrank and returned to normal. Then, he landed on his divine throne, swallowed a divine pill to restore his physical strength, and began to recover. Okay, Lu Ming has taken a break. The challenge will start from the 18th place. The National Preceptor announced. The 18th place was the original 17th place. It was his turn to start the challenge. This person was also a peerless genius. After he landed on the fighting ring, he looked around. Obviously, he could not be like Lu Ming. He did not have enough divine power. If he was injured, he would not be able to continue fighting. His gaze landed on the top 10 sky prides. Di Jenny, Su Wuya, Qian Shengxian, and Chu Chengkong were ignored. These people were obviously too strong. He was definitely no match for them. His gaze swept over the last few people in the top 10. He looked especially at Lu Ming and Yu Zhouqian. Yu Zhouqian and Lu Ming had just gone through a great battle. They were definitely not at their peak. However, Lu Ming and Yu Zhouqian were very powerful. This person had to assess his own condition. Especially Lu Ming, who had fought his way up. If Lu Ming was still at his peak, he would be asking for trouble if he challenged Lu Ming. I challenge Yu Zhouqian. In the end, this person challenged Yu Zhouqian. Yu Zhouqian had just been injured by Lu Ming. Among the top 10 geniuses, he should be the easiest to defeat. I admit defeat. Unexpectedly, Yu Zhouqian admitted defeat. He did not even want to fight. How decisive. However, this is the best way. That's right. Yu Zhouqian has admitted defeat and his ranking will drop. However, it doesn't matter. He still has one more chance to challenge. He can fight his way back. Now that he is injured, even if he wins, his injuries will only worsen. The challengers later will target him. He will be defeated sooner or later. It's better to admit defeat now. Some people analyzed. Yu Zhouqian admitted defeat. The challenger replaced Yu Zhouqian in the 10th place. Then, the challengers continued. The 16th place genius issued a challenge. This person also challenged the 10th place genius. The two of them engaged in an intense battle. In the end, the challenger won. Then, it was Autumn Moon's turn. This was because Wu Fan, who was ranked ahead of Autumn Moon, had already been killed by Lu Ming. Who are you challenging? Many people's gazes fell on Autumn Moon. Who would Autumn Moon challenge? Autumn Moon took a step forward and landed on the platform. Her long skirt fluttered in the wind like a fairy from the 9 heavens. I challenge her. Autumn Moon pointed at a young genius. Chapter 32:28. Autumn Moon pointed to a sky pride, which shocked many people. Ran we? N. W. 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 R. A. N. W. Aina? Come. That was because this genius was also a woman. A peerlessly beautiful woman. She was one of the 2 women in the Holy Capital's 10 prodigies, known as the 4 beauties of the Holy Capital. Her name was Miao Shui. In the original ranking, she was ranked 7th. Originally, everyone thought that Autumn Moon would challenge the 10th ranked Sky Pride. Because the 10th ranked Sky Pride had just gone through a great battle and was severely exhausted and injured, it was best for Autumn Moon to challenge that Sky Pride. Unexpectedly, Autumn Moon directly challenged Miao Shui, who was ranked 7th. However, many people began to get excited. After all, it was a battle between 2 beautiful women, which would undoubtedly be more interesting. Autumn Moon seems to be very close to Lu Ming. Both of them are from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace. This time, the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace is really something. They actually have 2 terrifying sky prides. And the 9 Sabers Heavenly King Palace has Chu Chengkong. These 2 Heavenly King Palaces that are ranked 1st and 2nd from the bottom are going to rise up. Many people exclaimed. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King's face was also full of smiles. The more sky prides there were, the stronger they were, the corresponding Heavenly King Palace would also be rewarded. Of course, most importantly, the greater the reputation of the corresponding Heavenly King Palace, the more experts they could attract to join them. The Taishu dynasty occupied a vast territory, and there were many star sectors. In such a vast territory, although most of them obeyed the orders of the Taishu dynasty and were under the jurisdiction of the Taishu dynasty, there were still many itinerant cultivators or forces that were not under the jurisdiction of the Taishu dynasty. On countless planets, there were also many independent experts who were cultivating alone. If the Heavenly King Palace was famous enough, it could attract these independent experts and itinerant cultivators to join them. It would be very useful to increase the strength of the Heavenly King Palace. If there were enough experts joining, the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Palace would be able to get rid of the embarrassing situation of being ranked last. I'm looking forward to a battle with you. At this moment, Miao Shui spoke. Her graceful body twisted slightly, and she landed on the fighting ring. The two beauties stood facing each other, pleasing to the eye. Without a sound, an ancient stone machete floated out and was held in Autumn Moon's hand. Around Miao Xue's body, snowflakes began to appear. These snowflakes were very strange. They were very large, and each one was the size of a palm. There was nothing to hide. The two of them used their source secret techniques at the same time. Snowfall World. Miao Xue was the first to make a move. With a wave of her slender hand, snowflakes flew towards Autumn Moon. They were like blades of light, trying to envelop Autumn Moon. Boom! Autumn Moon's divine power exploded as she slashed out with her scimitar, turning into streaks of rainbow light that filled the sky. Clang, clang, clang. When the saber light struck the snowflakes, it actually produced a violent collision sound, and sparks flew in all directions. Then, the snowflakes flew back to where they came from. Miao Xue's expression changed slightly. She took a step forward and floated towards the Autumn Moon. Her body exploded into countless snowflakes. Miao Xue's body actually turned into snowflakes. The sky was filled with snowflakes, covering the Autumn Moon. Each snowflake contained a great killing intent that was incomparably terrifying. It could even cut through the toughest divine weapons. Xueqi's expression turned slightly serious. She shouted softly and the saber light exploded. Boundless saber light burst forth and enveloped Xueqi. Snowflakes were slashed away by Autumn Moon. In an instant, the two of them had exchanged more than 10 moves, but Autumn Moon did not win. The strength of these top geniuses could not be measured by their cultivation base. Miao Xue's strength was very shocking. On the surface, Xueqi's cultivation base had reached the third king god realm. Moreover, she had cultivated the universe myriad Tao scripture, which allowed her to control 8 kinds of divine grade god power. Moreover, these 8 kinds of divine grade god power had awakened the original god power factor. Although they were all first awakenings, lagging behind Miao Xue's second awakening, in terms of divine power, Autumn Moon still had the upper hand. After all, she had 8 types of divine power. However, Miao Xue was able to block Autumn Moon's attacks for the time being. However, Lu Ming was not worried about Autumn Moon. Autumn Moon still had the god-killing light that she had not used yet. He believed that there were not many people who could fight Autumn Moon at the same level as her. Not even Miao Xue. Clang, clang, clang. The sound of collision continued. In a few breaths, Autumn Moon had already slashed out countless times. Moreover, the speed of her attacks was getting faster and faster. Snowflakes were sent flying by the Autumn Moon, dancing in all directions. Some of them even flew towards the geniuses on the divine thrones. Lu Ming and the others quickly set up their defenses to block these snowflakes. She's making her move. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw a layer of black light emanating from Autumn Moon's saber. That was the god-killing light. Swoosh! Autumn Moon slashed out with her saber. The saber light flashed and slashed across the void. The entire sky seemed to have been split in half. The snowflakes also seemed to have been slashed apart. The snowflakes danced in the air before retreating and reforming into Miao Xue's appearance. At this moment, Miao Xue's face was pale. There was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. There was also a bloody mark on her chest. I've lost. Miao Xue looked at Autumn Moon with a complicated expression. She then moved and left the fighting ring. Miao Xue has lost. Many people let out a long sigh. Their eyes were filled with shock. Miao Xue, one of the Holy Capital's 10 prodigies and one of the Holy Capital's 4 beauties, had lost to a girl from the 9 extinction Heavenly King residence. Moreover, no one had heard of this girl before. From now on, there will be one more beauty among the Holy Capital's 4 beauties. The Holy Capital's 5 beauties. Moreover, Lady Xueqi is superior in both beauty and talent. Some young men's eyes lit up as if they had found a prey. Don't even think about it. Let me tell you, this Miss Autumn Moon is Lu Ming's wife. Someone from the 9 extinction Heavenly King residence said. What? She's Lu Ming's wife? Oh my god, such a beauty is already taken. Heaven is unfair. My heart can't take it anymore. My heart is broken. Quick, help me to the sword. Then the crowd exclaimed. Miss Autumn Moon was Lu Ming's wife. Both of them were extremely talented. They were really a match made in heaven. After defeating Miao Xue, Miss Autumn Moon absorbed half of her battle chi. The color of Miss Autumn Moon's battlesuit became more intense. However, it did not upgrade to gold. Miao Xue's battlesuit did not upgrade either. It only turned into a light purple color. This battle is won by Miss Autumn Moon. Do you want to continue or stop the battle? The Imperial Advisor asked. Stop the battle, Miss Autumn Moon said and returned to her throne. After defeating Miao Xue, she replaced her in the 7th place. Miao Xue dropped 1 place to the 8th place. Lu Ming naturally dropped 1 place to the 10th place. The original 10th place was squeezed out of the 10th place and became the 11th place. That person's face turned ugly because he had already challenged before. Now that he was squeezed out of the top 10, he no longer had the chance to challenge again. The result was already decided. Chapter 32-29. Right now, there were only 2 people below the top 10 who had yet to challenge anyone. They were Yu Zhouqian and Yuan Jie. Ana. Yu Zhouqian and Yuan Jie were ranked 12th and 13th respectively. The person ranked 11th had already lost the right to challenge the top 10. It was Yuan Jie's turn to challenge. Yuan Jie's gaze scanned the top 10 people. Of course, Lu Ming was ignored by him. He had been defeated by Lu Ming before. If he challenged Lu Ming again, he would be asking for humiliation. Therefore, his gaze swept across the 9 people in front of him. Finally, his gaze landed on Miao Xue. The top 10 were all top prodigies. None of them were easy to deal with. However, Miao Xue was easier to deal with because she had just fought a big battle and was exhausted. Although it was a little dishonest to challenge Miao Xue now, he would rather be looked down upon than enter the top 10 and gain the right to establish his own family. Miao Xue. In the end, Yuan Jie pointed his spear at Miao Xue. Miao Xue floated down and landed on the fighting ring. Yuan Jie, do you think you can defeat me just because I've just fought a battle? You're sorely mistaken. Miao Xue said coldly. Make your move. Yuan Jie did not say anything else and attacked with his spear. Miao Xue turned into snow again and fought with Yuan Jie. The 2 of them fought fiercely. Soon, they had exchanged dozens of blows. Although Miao Xue had just fought a fierce battle, she was still able to unleash her peak combat power in a short time. In the end, the 2 of them fought fiercely for more than 100 blows. Miao Xue defeated Yuan Jie and won. Yuan Jie's defeat meant that he had completely lost the right to compete for the top 10. Yuan Jie's face was gloomy and ugly. Before the Taishu Imperial Academy was held, he was ambitious. Although he might not be able to enter the top 3, he was confident that he could enter the top 10. However, he was defeated by Chu Changkong before the Sacred Academy was held. After the Taishu Imperial Academy was held, he was defeated by Lu Ming. Now, he had no chance of entering the top 10. This was a huge blow to him. Outside, countless spectators were also amazed. This time, the Taishu Imperial Sacred Academy was too strange. Until now, there were only 4 people left in the top 10 of the Holy Capital's 10 greats. As for the 27 Heavenly Kings' palaces, they actually took up 6 of the spots. The current ranking was as follows: Di Jiani, Su Wuya, Qian Shengxian, Chu Chengkong, Yi Zhifan, Xue Hen, Qiu Autumn, Miao Xue, Sui Hanqiu, and Lu Ming. Among them, Di Jiani came from Divine Sword Heavenly King Mansion. Qian Shengxian was from the Thousand Saints Heavenly King Mansion. Chu Changkong was from the residence of 9 Blades Heavenly King. Autumn Moon and Lu Ming came from the 9 Extinction Heavenly King Mansion. Lu Xue Hen was from the number 1 Heavenly King Palace, Heavenly King Wushuang Palace. Only 4 of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital remained. They were Su Wuya, Yi Zhifan, Miao Xue, and Sui Hanqiu. This had never happened before. In the past, the 10 prodigies would take up at least half of the top 10 spots each time the Void Imperial Academy was held. Most of the time, all 10 spots were taken by the Holy Capital's 10 prodigies. Now, there were only 4 spots left. This made the local people of the Great Void Sacred Academy pale. They felt ashamed. The local people of the Great Void Sacred Academy had always been high and mighty. They looked down on those from the Heavenly King's palaces, the Marquis palaces, and the General's palaces. This situation was simply a slap to their faces. Now, only Yu Zhouqian has hope. I hope he can pull down one of the Heavenly King's palaces. This way, the Holy Capital's 10 prodigies can at least keep half of the top 10 spots and not create history. That's right, but it's difficult. Many of the local people of the holy capital were discussing and looking at Yu Zhouqian hopefully. Now, only Yu Zhouqian was qualified to challenge the top 10. After Yu Zhouqian finished his challenge, if he lost, the top 10 would be confirmed. If Yu Zhouqian won, there would be more variables. However, it was also a crucial battle. Many people could not help but feel nervous. The 9 Extinction Heavenly King was especially nervous. If after this battle, Lu Ming and Autumn Moon could still keep their registration, they would have a great chance of entering the top 10. Who would Yu Zhouqian challenge? Now, it's Yu Zhouqian's turn to challenge. The Imperial Advisor announced. Yu Zhouqian stepped into the fighting ring and looked around. He frowned slightly. Whoever he challenged now would not be easy to deal with. Of course, the best candidate to challenge was Miao Shui. Miao Shui had been through a series of battles and was the most exhausted. However, challenging Miao Shui would be taking advantage of her. He would definitely be criticized. Moreover, challenging Miao Shui was equivalent to the holy capital's 10 prodigies killing each other. He would probably be scolded to death by the local people of the holy capital. In the end, Yu Zhouqian's gaze fell on Xue Wuhen. Yu Zhouqian challenged Xue Hen. This was something that could not be helped. Among the 6 sky prides of the Heavenly King's palaces, he had been defeated by Lu Ming. Naturally, he would not challenge Lu Ming again. On the other hand, Autumn Moon's strength seemed to be unfathomable and unpredictable. He was not confident in defeating her. After thinking about it, Xue Hen seemed to be the only one who was more active. It's your mistake to challenge me. Xue Hen's eyes flashed. To be honest, he was also very unhappy. As the strongest sky pride of the 27 Heavenly King's palaces, he was being looked down upon. Among the 6 sky prides of the Heavenly King's palaces, Yu Zhouqian had challenged him. Boom! Without saying anything else, the two of them engaged in an intense battle. Yu Zhouqian used his origin secret technique to form 12 carps to attack Xue Hen. On the other hand, Xue Hen condensed an ocean directly. This was his origin secret technique. The ocean stirred up thousands of waves that slapped continuously. The power was boundless and sent the 12 carps flying. The two of them exchanged hundreds of blows. In the end, Xue Hen was stronger and defeated Yu Zhouqian. He absorbed half of Yu Zhouqian's battle chi. However, half of Yu Zhouqian's battle chi had already been absorbed by Lu Ming. It would be useless for Xue Hen to absorb the other half. In the end, it was still a purple battlesuit. With Yu Zhouqian defeated, the top 10 were confirmed. Because if they continued to challenge, they would be challenging those in the top 10. No matter how they fought or how they fell, the top 10 would still be the top 10. The 9 Extremes Heavenly King was overjoyed. This time, there were 2 people from the 9 Extremes Heavenly King Palace who had entered the top 10. This was a unique glory for the 27 Heavenly Kings palaces. Many of the Heavenly Kings had already congratulated the 9 Extremes Heavenly King. This made the 9 Sabers Heavenly King extremely unhappy. Humph, when Chu Changkong enters the top 3, his glory will not be comparable to those 2. The 9 Sabers Heavenly King snorted. Top 3? How can you think that Lu Ming and Autumn Moon can't enter? The 9 Extremes Heavenly King sneered. Chapter 32:30. Ha ha ha. Do you think that Lu Ming and Autumn Moon can enter the top 3? What a joke, what a joke. Joju, you must have lost your mind. The 9 Blades Heavenly King laughed loudly. W. Then you think Chu Changkong can enter the top 3? The 9 Extinction Heavenly King responded with a similarly mocking expression. Oh, then let's make a bet. 9 Blade Sky King said. Take a gamble? What are we betting? The 9 Absolutes Heavenly King asked. Starcrux Dawn. 10 Starcrux Dawn. Do you dare? 9 Blade Sky King said. The 9 Extremes Heavenly King's expression changed. By the side, the faces of the other people who were watching the show also changed. 10 Starcrux Pills. This bet was a little too big. The Starcrux Pill was an extremely precious divine pill. Even if a Divine Lord Realm powerhouse saw it, they would crave it and fight for it with all their might. This was because the Starcrux Pill was extremely useful to Divine Lord powerhouses. It could increase their cultivation. It was priceless. Now, the 9-Blade Celestial Lord had asked for 10 Starcrux elixirs. This was simply a huge gamble. What? Joju, have you lost your confidence and don't dare to gamble? The Nine Blades Heavenly King sneered. What kind of bet? What are the conditions for winning or losing? Nine Extinction Heavenly King Mansion asked. It's simple. Let's see which side can enter the top 3. If Chu Chung Kong enters the top 3, I win. If Lu Ming or Autumn Moon enters the top 3, you win. If both of us have someone enter the top 3, or if neither of us enters the top 3, then it will be considered a draw. What do you think? Nine Blade Sky King said. All right, I promise you. The Nine Extinction Heavenly King blurted out and agreed immediately. Joju, thank you for the 10 Starcrux pills. The Nine Sabers Heavenly King was overjoyed to see the Nine Sabers Heavenly King agree. Hee hee, you think you've won for sure? Don't slap your own face when the time comes. The Nine Extinction Heavenly King responded coldly. It was easier said than done to enter the top 3. Even if Lu Ming and Autumn Moon could not make it to the top 3, Chu Chung Kong might not make it either. Di Jenny, Su Wuya, Qian Shengxian, none of them were easy to deal with. Behind them, Yi Zhifan, Lu Shuihen, and the others were still eyeing them covetously. Although the Nine Extinction Heavenly King did not think that he could win, he did not think that he would lose either. All right, the top 10 spots have been confirmed. They are Emperor Sword 1. At this moment, the Imperial Preceptor spoke again and announced the top 10 this time. Among the top 10 this time, the 27 Heavenly Kings' palaces took up 6 spots, breaking history. The top 10 will be granted the right to establish their own clan. After the competition, His Majesty the Sage Emperor will bestow upon them a decree to establish their own clan. The Imperial Advisor continued. Many people's eyes were burning with envy. After obtaining the mansion opening token, one would have the right to establish their own clan. How glorious would it be to be the ancestor of a clan? In the future, as long as they became stronger and stronger, they would eventually become the general's residence, the marquis residence, or even the heavenly monarch's residence. This was the dream of all young people. Don't be discouraged. The manor opening token doesn't necessarily belong to the top 10 of the Holy Court. As long as you work hard on your cultivation and contribute greatly to the Holy Court, you will still be able to obtain the manor opening token. Some older generation figures warned their juniors. Many young people were filled with confidence. They clenched their fists and swore to themselves that they would definitely obtain the manor opening token in the future. All right, the top 10 has been confirmed. However, the challenges will continue. Now we will decide the top 3. However, the rules will be slightly changed for the next challenge. After each battle, you will be given time to recover. Once you have recovered to your peak state, you will continue the battle. The Imperial Preceptor announced. Lu Ming and the others' eyes lit up as they pondered. All right, the challenges will continue. Lu Ming has already challenged before. Let's start from the 9th place. The 9th place is Sui Hanqiu. Who would you like to challenge? The Imperial Preceptor's voice was heard. Sui Hanqiu stepped onto the fighting ring and glanced at the crowd. Now, Sui Hanqiu had 2 choices. The first was to challenge one of the top 3 and replace their position. Anyway, he had time to recover his strength. As long as he was strong enough, he would take over the top 3 and accept the challenges of others. The second was to learn from Lu Ming and challenge those who were ahead of him step by step. As long as he was strong enough and was confident that he could defeat his opponent, he would be able to absorb the battle chi of those who were ahead of him step by step and improve the level of his battle suit. However, there was a disadvantage to this. Once he failed, he would have no chance to be in the top 3. Sui Hanqiu's eyes flickered. He was thinking about which challenge to choose. I challenge Autumn Moon. Finally, Sui Hanqiu looked at Autumn Moon. Obviously, he chose the second option. He wanted to learn from Lu Ming and improve the level of his battle suit step by step. Whoosh! Autumn Moon stepped onto the fighting ring and clenched his fist. The blade of domination appeared in his hand. Dang! Sui Hanqiu shouted coldly as he unsheathed his sword. The sound of the sword resounded in all directions. The 2 of them turned into 2 streaks of light and fought fiercely. Saber chi and sword chi were everywhere as they fought fiercely. However, after dozens of moves, Autumn Moon performed the god-killing light and began to gain the upper hand. After dozens of moves, Sui Hanqiu coughed out blood and was knocked out of the fighting ring by Autumn Moon. Sui Hanqiu was defeated. Autumn Moon absorbed Sui Hanqiu's battle chi and the color of her battle suit became darker. It was dark purple. Autumn Moon is so powerful. That divine light is terrifying. I've never heard of it before. Autumn Moon and Lu Ming are both dark horses. The fact that Autumn Moon had defeated Sui Hanqiu caused a lot of discussion. Next, Autumn Moon. Who do you want to challenge? The National Master continued to ask. I want to challenge the Cliff of Oblivion. Autumn Moon's voice resounded in the entire arena. What? She wants to challenge the Cliff of Oblivion? This time, everyone was taken aback. Even Lu Ming was shocked. Autumn Moon wanted to challenge the Cliff of Oblivion. Why is this girl so impulsive? Lu Ming was also speechless. With Autumn Moon's strength, she might be able to win if she continued to challenge the Cliff of Oblivion step by step. If she won and upgraded her battlesuit, she would have a higher chance of winning if she challenged the top 3. But now, Autumn Moon wanted to challenge the Cliff of Oblivion. Their battlesuits were of the same level. Could Autumn Moon be a match for the Cliff of Oblivion? This girl is still inexperienced in the Zhonghu. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Lu Ming knew that Autumn Moon wanted to challenge the Cliff of Oblivion because she wanted to be in the top 3 and help Lu Ming save Blue Merchant. However, Autumn Moon was still inexperienced. In the past, Autumn Moon was either with Lu Ming's parents or with Lu Ming himself. She did not have many opportunities to explore the outside world alone, so she was inexperienced. Naturally, she was not as scheming as Lu Ming, who was a wily old fox. Interesting. Su Wuya was also stunned. Then he stepped out and landed in the arena. Make your move. You're strong, but you're still not strong enough to challenge me, Su Wuya said. Even though he had seen Autumn Moon fight, he was still very confident. Su Wuya was the leader of the 10 heroes of the Holy Capital. He had the right to be confident. Chapter 32-31. Autumn Moon's body was shrouded in divine light as her aura reached its peak. Huaran. Wen. W. Aina. Come. Swoosh. A terrifying saber light slashed out towards Su Wuya. Autumn Moon used all her strength as soon as she made her move. She used all her divine power and her origin source secret technique, the God-killing ray. Boom. Su Wuya's body also released a terrifying aura. His violent divine power stirred up the air and turned into a terrifying shadow of a finger that blasted toward Autumn Moon. Their attacks collided and an earth-shattering explosion erupted. Violent energy overflowed and spread in all directions. Lu Ming and the others quickly set up layers of defense to block the energy that spread out in all directions. Then, 2 figures could be seen retreating. What? That Qiu Yu's battle prowess is terrifying. Many people were shocked. Autumn Moon was able to fight Su Wuya to a draw. Not bad. Again. Su Wuya's voice rang out. Then, his body suddenly charged toward Autumn Moon. As he charged, a crescent moon appeared above his head. The moonlight shone brightly and was unparalleled. Autumn Moon's expression changed as if she had been attacked. She quickly slashed with her scimitar, and endless blade radiance slashed toward the void. The blade radiance slashed the void and made an intense collision sound. Boundless finger. At this moment, Su Wuya used the boundless finger again. A huge shadow of a finger pointed toward Autumn Moon. The boundless finger was one of Su Wuya's divine skills. It was extremely powerful and had at least reached the 10th level. As for the crescent moon, it was his origin source secret technique. Su Wuya was indeed very powerful. Not only was his origin source secret technique powerful, but his other divine skills were also exceptionally powerful. Autumn Moon cried out. Her blade radiance flashed and filled the sky with blade radiance, breaking Su Wuya's attack. God-killing ray. Then, Autumn Moon cried out. Her body emitted wisps of black light. These were all God-killing rays. In the previous battle, Autumn Moon had only used a wisp of God-killing ray. Now, Autumn Moon was using all her strength. Her entire body was enveloped by the God-killing ray. Then, all the God-killing rays gathered on the scimitar. Swoosh. The blade radiance was dazzling. Su Wuya's finger attack collapsed, and the blade radiance slashed the crescent moon, causing it to shake violently. It looked as if Qiu Yu's saber was about to break the crescent moon apart. At this moment, countless people's faces turned grave. Especially the top 10 geniuses, such as Qian Shengxian and Chu Chengkong, looked even more solemn. Qiu Yu's strength was beyond imagination. She was terrifyingly powerful. Even Su Wuya had been forced to such an extent. Boom! Suddenly, the aura on Su Wuya's body surged again, and a strong divine power gathered on the crescent moon. The moon's power suddenly became extremely bright. Xueqi's body trembled as she floated backward. Fourth King of God layer. Many people's faces turned solemn. Su Wuya's cultivation had reached the peak of the fourth layer of the King God realm. Previously, all the top geniuses were at the third layer of the King God realm. It was difficult to break through each layer of the King God realm. This was especially true for the top geniuses. Breaking through from the third layer of the King God realm to the fourth layer of the King God realm was equivalent to breaking through from a low-level King God realm to a mid-level King God realm. Once a person broke through, their strength would increase greatly. Su Wuya's cultivation had reached the fourth layer of the King God realm. His strength was extremely terrifying. Luminous moon in the sky. Su Wuya cried out. His body emitted a dazzling light. Every inch of his skin seemed to emit moonlight. This was another terrifying secret technique. Just like the ancient god body, this secret technique was called luminous moon body. I originally thought that I would only use my full strength at the last moment. I didn't expect that I would use my full strength now. Your strength has really made me look at you in a new light. Su Wuya looked at Autumn Moon with admiration. If he hadn't heard that Autumn Moon was taken, he would have been tempted. Su Wuya's strength had reached its peak when he used luminous moon body. Swoosh! Su Wuya turned into a ray of moonlight and shot toward Autumn Moon. The waning moon shone even brighter and shot toward Autumn Moon. The god-destroying light on Autumn Moon's body became even more intense. The god-destroying light flowed out of her eyes like streams of air. Autumn Moon increased her strength to the maximum. She turned into a ray of light and shot towards Su Wuya. Clang! Clang! A ray of divine light and a ray of moonlight collided in the sky. Every time they collided, violent air currents would surge out in all directions. Everyone held their breaths as they watched the battle in the sky. The two of them had fought for more than a dozen rounds. Bam! There was another loud explosion and the two figures retreated quickly. Su Wuya no longer looked confident. Instead, he looked solemn. On the other hand, Autumn Moon's body trembled slightly. The god-destroying light on her body flickered. Autumn Moon is going to lose. Lu Ming sighed. Indeed, in the next moment, the god-destroying light on Autumn Moon's body trembled and disappeared without a trace. Although the god-destroying light was powerful, it was very difficult to control it. Moreover, it was very demanding on one's body and would cause a huge burden. Autumn Moon had overused the god-destroying light and could not take it anymore. I've lost. Autumn Moon shook her head and flew out of the fighting ring. She landed on the throne. Young master, I'm sorry. Autumn Moon has lost. Autumn Moon's apologetic voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. Silly girl. You've done well. Leave the rest to me. Lu Ming smiled. He felt that it was a pity. If Autumn Moon had more experience in the underworld, she might have been able to defeat Su Wuya when her battle suit turned golden. Autumn Moon was very powerful. If she gave it her all, Lu Ming might not be a match for her. Also, Autumn Moon's origin divine power factor had only been awakened once. If she had awakened her origin divine power factor twice, she might be able to fight Su Wuya. Phew! Seeing that Autumn Moon had admitted defeat, Su Wuya heaved a sigh of relief and relaxed. To be honest, the battle with Autumn Moon had consumed a lot of his energy and divine power. Su Wuya had absorbed most of Autumn Moon's battle chi. His battle suit had become much thicker, but it had not been upgraded. However, it had reached the limit of the purple battle suit. If he absorbed more, it would be upgraded. Su Wuya flew back to his throne and swallowed a divine pill to recover. The other geniuses also heaved a sigh of relief. Autumn Moon's defeat had lessened the pressure on them. However, they frowned again. Su Wuya's strength was terrifying. Many of them knew that they were no match for him. Since Su Wuya was no match for them, only Di Jenny and Qian Shengxian were left to challenge. After Autumn Moon's challenge, it was Lu Xuehan's turn. Lu Xuehan's eyes lit up as he started to think about who he should challenge. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.